Hello, Master Fast family. Here we are with another Saturday Night Live. Saturday, April 27, 2019 is what the calendar says. So it's always wonderful to have you guys, and inspire us, inspire each other in this crazy, insane lifestyle
Beautiful.
of less is more.
Beautiful, amazing.
And I feel freaking amazing. Coming off of 8-day dry, it's just
Wow.
a blissful place to be. And I'm ready to go back again. Because eating is not where we want to be. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Excellent.
Fantastic. I've got stuff to share, but I'll allow other people speak first because otherwise I'll take up the 2 hours.
I can't be the one talking all the time. Anybody want to share, inspire?
Yeah, I want to know how Steve's going, and
Tell
I want
me
to
off.
know, Steve, how you going? When are you planning your next master fast? And
November.
November.
I'm gonna go try the 108 again. I want to schedule it to end up on my birthday, so I think about November 1st will be about when I start.
November?
Yep. For the full 108.
Yeah, okay, it's a
Well,
while.
I'll do intermittent ones. I'm not going to be eating till November, that's for sure.
Once you experience that nectar of God, as we like to put it, it's.
I want to get back. All my stuff's starting to grow, so I'll start harvesting my greens in probably a week. So.
Oh yeah, that's the best. If you're gonna eat
I
good.
mean,
There's nothing better.
It's all growing in the backyard. I can't get any better than that. But more importantly, for me this week, I had a big accomplishment. Since I got sober 23 years ago, I've had terrible, and even before that, terrible insomnia.
Okay.
So I've been on all different kinds of meds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I got rid of the pharmaceuticals last fall. Finally.
Okay.
That was going through
now.
through Spears work. That's how I started and ended up here. But I was still taking a melatonin, and I was able to put that down last week. So I've been finally chemical free. First time.
Wow. Okay, now I understand that you were going through so much kidney pains.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're doing a lot of work because the body's trying to dump all that stuff for those years. It's gonna take a while.
Oh, I know that.
It's gonna take a while.
I feel great. I'm 2 days in. Started yesterday. Today's dry. So.
Yeah, who posted about the horrible taste in her mouth?
I saw that one.
Yeah, I've had that.
Yeah.
That's heavy metal starting to break free and starting to come up, and so of course all through the GI tract, everything's lodged in there. And I had that horrific taste. It was like a metal, like a piece of metal stuck in my mouth, and I couldn't get rid of that taste no matter what I did. And it was with me for about a week or something, if I remember. This was years ago, and it was horrific. Like my good, no matter what you did, you could not remove the taste out of the mouth. So you just gotta embrace it and understand that body knows exactly what it's doing. Embrace.
We pretty much have like a weird taste when we start a fast. It's
Yeah, but she's been on it for a while. It's not when you start. It's when you start going deeper and
Yeah, when it releases.
these layers start breaking free.
Yeah.
It's just awesome when you see these things. I jump for joy whenever anything. We need to come to the understanding that whenever there's a change, doesn't matter what it is, inside of a fast, whenever there's a change, whether you feel like you're dying or whatever, it's great news and it's time to jump for joy. This is the misunderstanding out there. People get scared, they run into fear mode. People start talking to them about bull crap and they go more into the fear mode and they break their fast because they don't have the understanding that you need to come to the terms to trust in your soul. Because there's nobody else you can trust when you're in a fast. You trust your soul. That's it. This is what Creator put into our design to come to a reset place so you can repair and allow the physical body to regenerate. And then it goes on, of course, to the mental and the spiritual realm. But it starts from the top down, but we're working from the bottom up. It's hard to understand it, but because we're in the physical realm, we're working through the physical, but it's actually working from the spirit down.
It's all connected.
Where everything is, where we see all that beautiful magic happen. It's coming from up down, not from the fast. It's coming from up because it's a spiritual journey first and foremost. And once you start tapping into that realm and start trusting and embracing, it's gonna get scary sometimes, yeah, but always come to the place that this is why you need the support. You have people around. Okay, yeah, don't worry. If it's overwhelming, just slow down. Cut back, go into some green juices, whatever. But this is all part of the process. Embrace it. Understand what's happening. Trust. And for the people who don't trust, they're going to break their fast and they're going to start blaming the fast for everything in their lives and everything, so on and so forth. Because the understanding is not there. In the fasting realm today, what I see out there, what people are preaching and teaching about fasting, a lot of it's nonsense. It's all science-based. And it's all non-experience based. They're listening and reading from whatever. It's scary. It's scary what people are talking about fasting. Even the places you go, I don't want to mention any names, but places where they have doctors and stuff to support your fasting and all that. These are scary places. That's no place for to be doing a fast, in my opinion. Fasting is a personal journey with spirit, with God, and if you don't trust that, then yeah, maybe go with the white jackets. Go down that route because
there's always there are different speeds to detox. You don't have to go 108 days. You can go slowly at your own pace. And
well,
for people who find it a big change, then slow down a little bit.
Yeah, from what we've seen in this past 3.5 years, like I really underestimated the level of how toxic humanity is today. I really underestimated it. That 108-day journey is wonderful and amazing, and everybody everybody
would benefit. There is no question.
No, not that. Everybody wouldn't be nice for everybody to have that goal to one day achieve that 108 days. Because there's a lot of magic that happens in the consecutive long digestive vacations. But first and foremost, when you're starting off in fasting, I don't care what you've been eating. If you've been eating food for 10 years, when you start off in fasting, you're in a whole different realm, and you're in UV, and it would be best for people to start on that 30, 40-day journeys, and then continue with the lifestyle less is more, and focus on every 2-3 months to do that 30, 40 days, and do it that way. Because unless you're in a really severe situation where they gave you whatever months or years to live, and you're in really bad shape, you've been butchered to hell.
Or mini master fast is another one. I mean, like maybe eating 2 days a week or eating 3 days a week.
I know, but if somebody's in a serious situation, you got to really fast. You got to clean up. You got to clean house, and they really need somebody with support, close support. Like as we're doing, they got to be really tied in and be there and understand what's going on. Do a lot of reading, a lot of watching videos. Start rewiring the brain of what fasting is really about, and come to the new understanding. Because if you're not there, you're not going to exit properly, and that's the challenge. Because the start is always after the 108 days. It's not the fast. The 108 days is the start to the lifestyle. So,
yeah, Gina, I just want to add to that. I find is that the soul guides you through the fast, but Master Fast System and the realm of Master Fast System gives you the confirmation and keeps you focused. That's the way I used to think that as a Master Fast System, that was the way the system to do it, which it is right. But it's now, for me, it's the opposite. Like it's the soul that has been guiding me. Now I've seen the unfoldment, and you reflect back. It's the soul that has guided me all the way through without me even knowing. Like I didn't have the intellectual mindset to really fully understand that. But Master Fast system and coming on these calls and doing all this helps me to give me my confirmation every time something unfolds or gives me a realization. That's how I'm finding that for me.
It's coming to the place, you're exactly right. It's coming to the place where you realize it is all autopilot and you trust in soul. That's it. This is what it's all about, you know, all the mumbo jumbo in your cells and your blood and your lymph and your this and your that. It's going to spiral you out to more and more and more and more confusion, because that's what happened to me. I started on the right path, and then because there was no support, no nothing, nowhere to go, I just was zigzagging along and trying to find whatever and going into the sciences and this and that. And I just kept spiraling out to more and more and more confusion. And it's not a place where you want to be when you're in a fasting state, because that's the state that brings in the fear. Wanting to know the who, what, where, when, why, how. That's where you want to go, this journey will not be pleasant for you, because you will not find your answers until you connect with source. And then the answers start coming one by one, and they'll be in plain sight. The correct questions will pop up, and you'll get the answer right away.
No, there are enough questions answered in the protocol and the frequently asked questions and the videos that I think it's enough. More thoughts than that, I think, is absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah, if you've looked at the last 3.5 years, we've been simplifying the way we've been sharing, the way we've been talking, et cetera, et cetera. We've been trying to simplify it more and more and more, because at the end of the day, it's autopilot. How much more simple do you want it?
Yeah, the protocol is detailed only because, the lifestyle is easy, really. The protocol is detailed because there are people who are coming with no detoxification background, and it's important for them to know. It's important for them to know that if they have a headache, they're simply detoxing. It's not something they need to freak out about, or if they feel whatever, that symptoms that are scary we never felt before. It's with practice you will understand, but reading the protocol is important for that, for sure. It's important to know what's normal and what's not.
Well, Elaine's saying it's quite simple, but not easy for me to stick to. Nobody said it was easy, Elaine.
It's not hard neither. It's amazing how it's not easy, but it's not hard.
The lifestyle, the whole concept and everything is very simple, because creation does not make anything complicated. It doesn't tell you need to know you have to have so many minerals, vitamins, amino acids, fats.
Lunch, dinner.
Yeah, breakfast, dinner. We don't need to know any of that stuff. It's very simple, but it's not easy. Number one reason it's not easy is why? Emotions, but our social environments, which are attributed and influence our emotions. But if you go out in the wilderness and don't have anybody around, bring just your fasting materials, believe me, it'll be much easier, because I've done that, right? When just being all on my own, it was the most peaceful time, because I didn't have to have any influence from anything outside. But when you're around a society that, number one, doesn't understand fasting, number two, sometimes condemns fasting, number three, ridicules and so on and so forth. So it's very, very difficult in that aspect for a lot of people, especially people who are in a weakened state because of the lifestyle they lived for decades. And when you're in that weakened state, your emotions are much more easily influenced towards the negative. People get drawn down more and more and more. So what do we need to do? We need a support system where the light will be shining, and every time you go into the support system, the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and the fear starts dissipating more and more and more. And then you come to an understanding by doing it over and over and over again. And eventually, within a few years, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, few years, you come to an understanding of all the bullshit that's been out there, all these years that you've been lied to and been robbed and et cetera, like I have. So I don't know how much more easy and more simple we can make it, but yeah, it's not an easy thing for most people to do, for sure. It's not easy. It's not easy for me. I mean, we got to deal, I'm working with my mother and stuff. It's not easy, but the lifestyle is very simple. It is quite simple. Okay. I was fine for 8 months living lifestyle. Now so many cravings. Yes, kids eating. Is my disorder coming to the surface to heal? Of course, all weaknesses come to the surface when you live a fasting lifestyle. And that's the thing that people have a trouble in to gain that understanding. And, what I've seen, like from the start, we're telling people and we're sharing this is lifestyle. This is lifestyle.
Yeah,
but
honestly, yeah.
I honestly, there's a handful of people that actually understand that.
It's not easy to fast. It's not even easy for us to do a long fast and then go back to eating. It's always challenging.
Yeah, but all these things that we experience when we dwell into this lifestyle, when we start this lifestyle within the first 2-3 years or so, is a lot of all this emotional stuff that's coming to the surface. And that's the biggest challenge for people to deal with and come to the understanding it's all part of the process. It's all part of the process.
Yeah, I mean,
we will all experience different things, but the emotions override everything. If you read everybody's posts, it's all emotional. The physical stuff is very minute.
To be honest with you, I mean, it's not easy to do a long fast. The long fast itself is so easy compared to, like, it's to the eating part. It's when you go back to eating. The fasting ranges, you're now like day 60 something, right? So it is so freaking easy. It gets easier and easier, and then the food and the cravings they become less and less and less and less, and you feel better and better, and the detox is even deeper sometimes, and you're feeling weird things happening, but it's like nice at the same time. So the fast itself is so easy, but are we ready for it? Honestly, most people are not ready for a long fast. And it's best, this is what I said to myself a few years ago after my first 108. Whatever I do, it's best, actually after my second long fast, whatever you do, make it a lifestyle today. If you want to do honestly, if you want to do a very long master fast, then, I have a plan to be a liquidarian. Yeah, because you're not gonna like eating again. I mean, we have to be honest. I'm just gonna say it. I don't want to lie to anybody because I'm not gonna lie to myself. This is the truth. I have a plan to be a liquidarian. I mean, I had a plan last year to be a liquidarian. I did it for 116 days, and it was amazing.
We love to eat, but we don't like the feeling of what it does to the body.
Yeah, exactly. And it becomes so easy. I mean, I was hosting, 15 people. I was making food. It was so easy. Day 70, I don't remember. It was so easy to make food. And at the beginning, it's always hard. You're day 2. Yeah, day 2, because we're full of crap from the days we were eating. And so we are, God knows, maybe we're feeding the parasites and they're hungry, they're craving. It's always hard at the beginning. The first few weeks, you're going to have cravings. Maybe the first few days, wash your colon as much as you can, stick to the protocol and keep drinking and, flush things out. Do more of the enemas, the colimas, colonics, whatever you can. So, in my opinion, the best thing would be to do whatever you want, you see yourself living. Yeah, the lifestyle today, not after 108 days. Today, how do you see yourself living? Do you see yourself eating 3 days a week? Then do that. 4 days a week, do that. 6 days a week, do that at your own pace. 1 day a week, do that, If you see yourself not eating again, okay, do that, do that. You will feel amazing, but you have to choose the lifestyle before you start. Like day 1, day 2, start deciding, okay, this is what I want. Maybe it's hard to decide immediately at the beginning because you're feeling frustrated. So wait for a few days and then decide.
Like this eating disorder thing people talk about, eating is a disorder, right? That's the way I look at it. Eating itself is a disorder, especially how a lot of modern societies can conduct themselves around food, how we see people feeding their children, how we see people feeding domesticated animals, and so on and so forth.
That's not normal. That you're saying that's not normal, right?
No, there's no animals that have regimes of eating at certain times, this and that in the wild. They eat when they're hungry, and then they're done. And some of them will be done for a few days or longer, depending what animal it is.
And what is hunger? When you fast, you understand that it doesn't even exist.
I'm just saying, but the whole eating thing has become a social thing more than anything else, and it's a ritual, and we get programmed very, very deeply within these structures that have been put in place by whatever. So these things are very, very challenging to let go of and change. I know I've shared this before. Growing up, we had to be at the table for dinner, and we couldn't leave the table until the plates were finished, right? Because there's poor people out there. So when you grow up with that kind of thing that you have to eat what's put in front of you, you're set up for failure with an eating disorder, right? That's why I ate everything and anything after. So how do we deal with these things? Well, we got to come to the new understanding that only the body can feed, hydrate, build balance, and heal itself through soul from source. That's the reality of my new understanding. Whether you believe it or not, whether it's true, it doesn't matter. That's my new understanding. And I've seen the effects of people coming to this understanding. It's very powerful when you do. The whole eating thing, we're not going to stop eating. Most of us are not going to stop eating completely. Let's put it that way. So what do we do? We learn to find the beautiful, delicate balance between the eating and the fasting life. Right? We're going back and forth, back and forth. We're always on a fasting mentality, always on. And we choose to eat for fun whenever, how many days a week it is for you. That's the way I like to look at things. I'm not in an eating lifestyle. I'm in a fasting lifestyle. I reverse it all, because the whole psychology out there is an eating lifestyle. People live to eat. We are eating to live, meaning we're reducing, because the more you eat, the shorter your lifespan. We know that. All the science has been done on that.
And I like to add to the disorder, the eating disorder. I believe, everybody has it, because nobody can do a long fast and say eating is like so easy after the fast. We all know it's not easy to eat after a long fast, to eat properly and to stick to the best diet. And so, but some people have more, like you can say, eating disorder or emotional imbalances than other people, and so they will binge more. They will hurt themselves more. Again, it goes back to deep, maybe deep emotions, deep something they're hurt, somehow. But we all have it, and of course, I believe, definitely less is more, and fasting as a lifestyle is very important to keep things.
Well, what's the first thing that comes to mind when people don't go out without food for a long time? They're going to die. They're going to starve to death, right? That's ingrained deep within us. And then the water thing, you don't drink water for whatever, 3-10 days, whatever science says, you're dead. Okay, I should have been dead many times over.
Many people are proud of drinking 3 liters a day.
3, 4, 5, whatever. But the emotional roller coaster ride is what should be the focus when we're connecting with soul, to bring balance to the emotion. Once we can bring that balance to that and find that peaceful state of emotions where it doesn't matter where you go, where you are, what influence. I think like Sadhguru said, so they send you to hell. Is it going to change your state? No. When you're in control, you'll bring peace to the people in hell. Or was it Buddha said, send me to hell, there's work to be done there, or something like that. Because once you've controlled the the external environments, they will not affect you. You will bring balance to them. That's what we're talking about, building your field strength and strengthening that. So you have influence on your surroundings and not the other way around. Now, most of us are having all the other things influence us, and we're on these emotional roller coaster rides. We're binge eating. We don't know where we're coming or going. So I don't see how anybody's going to master this in a few fasts or a few years.
Yeah.
Martial arts masters take decades. Just one little art. To master your emotions and your whole being of living in this material world, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some effort.
And let's remember that even mastering clean eating is not easy. It's not just mastering fasting, but also mastering clean eating.
Fasting lifestyle, I mean.
Which
includes eating for most people.
Before fasting, let's say we are doing raw foods, and we're not fasting. That's not easy either. To stick to a clean diet is way harder than fasting. But balancing fasting and clean eating is even harder. I would say is the hardest. But it's always
I've
challenging.
been fasting and eating for 3 decades.
Yeah.
And I can tell you now that this past year and a half has been the most challenging for me in taking care of my mother, because we're talking emotions, right? You're talking about emotions from your mother. That's a whole different realm. When you're talking about your parents, it's a whole, especially your mother, it's a whole different realm. And that's very powerful and potent. It's something that is one of my weaknesses of not being able to see my mother in pain. It's very difficult on me. So I do my best, but it is very difficult emotionally on me, because who wants to see anybody suffer, especially your mother, right? So we have to work on these things and master ourselves, so we can bring that balance to our surrounding people that we associate with, et cetera, et cetera. That's what fasting lifestyle is. It's spiritual first and foremost.
Yeah, and another thing is that we have a very fast lifestyle. Everybody does at this time. We're working on the internet. It's just everything is so fast. We have no time. So it's important to really take a break, a little bit, and pray.
Connect the source.
Take a little break every day and pray. Because we are just like, there are so many responsibilities. You have this, you have that to worry about. You have so many things to worry about. Just take a little break. I mean, you will face this even if you're eating, even if you have never fasted, but maybe now you're seeing things more because the body is getting cleaner. And you're trying to balance fasting and eating, which is really hard. It's not easy, but it's easier to fast or to just eat. So you want to be more emotionally balanced. So, pray even more.
Margaret's joining. Oh, Judith is here. I didn't even notice. Hi, Judith. Lydia. Ranjit, I know you want to share something.
Yeah, I'll always do. And hello, Elaine. Welcome. I think it's the first time you've been here for. It's so great to see you. You're so beautiful. Love you heaps. I've got heaps to check. Can I finish off my rejection thing from last week? That rejection thing that come up went in my gut, and then I cleansed it out through my mouth. Then lots of information came through, and because, as you said, it's always family and parents and that actually make you face certain things that are deep. I can handle most people everywhere else, but it's always that. So I won't go into the story of what happened, but definitely family. And what come through is that I'm actually, with my mind and my personality, is when you go into rejection, it's about not being approved, not feeling love, having shame, guilt, all those things, right? Now, I'm actually asking the people that I really love and care about to behave a certain way in order for me to feel loved. You're never ever going to get that from the external. You're only ever going to get that from the soul. So we know that connection's always from God, right, or within. Now, so I my personality is the manipulator. This is what I come with in my mind and my personality. So, and observing this, that my personality is the manipulator, because I want these people to behave a certain way for me to feel good or feel better. That isn't going to happen, because the eyes behind those people are scared children. So they got their, as you say, Gino, their caca, their shit. So they've got all their shit in their energy fields, which are really, really magnetically attached to you. So you're going to feel it, right? Because to detach from that energy field is very, very difficult and challenging. But to be in the observed state, and if you're able to rise up and stay with God and in that presence, you can deal with it. You will not deal with it from the mind or from your personality or what you think you know. It's just not going to happen. You're just going to be caught in that outward spiral, as you say, Gina. So what I've done is I had to deal with the rejection thing again, because it keeps coming up. So what's ever happening, okay, I'm dealing with this. Okay, the attack is really, really huge. And so I'm looking at the attack or that energy field, and I'm going, well, my God, I'm the manipulator, because I'm part of this attachment. I'm part of this feeling of rejected. I'm part of this feeling of, feeling shame, guilt, and that, wherever it comes from, right? If it's ancestors or whatever it is, if it's energy fields, wherever it is, but it's in my body. But when I took that energy out, I did release it. It did release very quickly. But then it came into, unfortunately, I analysed it through the mind, but which is okay. I didn't mind doing that for this situation, because it's important to me. And that's what I came to. So when I got attacked again, all I did was just sit in my observed state, watch the people attack and watch that attack, and realise in that situation that they're the ones that are scared children. They're the ones that are so frightened and so fearful and so insecure that they're putting their caca on me, and I've received it. But however, I'm the manipulator of that situation as well, because I want them to behave in a certain way to make me feel loved, which will never happen, because it wouldn't matter what they do. It doesn't really matter. It does not matter. Even if they behave the way that I wanted them to behave, it wouldn't make any difference. Like, that's what I came up with. If they did this, if they said, oh, I love you, if I said, I'll give you a big hug and, oh, I'm sorry and all that, it wouldn't have made any difference in that particular emotion of rejection and what I went through. I had to hand it over to Source. Source had to tell me what was going on. You rejecting me so long, come here. Bugger that, come here. Because that's the only choice you've got. That's an absolute. So I went through that, and that was really cool. But the one thing I really loved about this, Gina, because being in your fasted state and your dry state, is it did not stick. I did not get too caught up in the anxiety and those feelings and all that sort of stuff. And maybe I'm thinking that I am maybe more emotionally stable, right? And I'm thinking, okay, why am I coping with this so well? Because I actually coped with it, from my perspective, pretty well. And so I think that, like, the unsticking thing is very powerful, and allowing that to flow through, because I looked at the word surrender. Because remember, I did my first beginning of the 108 days where I said I surrendered to this process. And sometimes I feel that people might think surrender is that you're giving up something, but you're not actually giving up something. All you're doing, from my perspective, is you're letting go of resistance. So you're falling into the desire or the lifestyle that you want, even though you don't even fully know what that is. Because through my 108 days, I didn't know what I was doing. The one thing I realised at the end of it, I was channeling you guys and all the information that you knew. Because even before starting this 180 days, I already know, Rana, like what you said, that I already know that I will never, ever, ever be the same. I can't ever go back to food like how I was. It'd just be like, it'd take years for me to get back to that stage of eating like how I was previously. You know what I mean? Like at the beginning of even 2018, it would take years. So I already know that, and because the soul did tell me too, you'll never go back. Like you'll never go back to how you perceived what the food lifestyle is, and your social interactions will change, and you'll be having different people in your group, in my surroundings, and I had to let go of a lot of people, but the hardest ones to let go, of course, is our parents and our family, because they're there forever, like until the day even when we transition over, like they're just always there. In our genetics, in our cells and everywhere, like the nose on my face, the hair on my head, like they're just here. And so I just kind of like think, well, family's one where it's not going anywhere. So you've got to deal with that in some form. And, they're the ones that give you the most caca. They're the ones that give you the most things that you've got to deal with for whatever reasons. But they're scared children. So when I was looking at my dad, for instance, I went, I know you're scared. I know you're that scared 5-year-old that didn't get the love, that was rejected yourself. You're the scared, even with my mum and everyone, and my brothers and sisters, you're scared because we never, ever got what we thought we got before we came birthed into this world. Maybe the first couple of years we might have got it as a child, maybe, but before we just never got it. So the only place you're going to get it is going back to what you remember, which is God. It's always that. It's just always, always that. Like, skip the mind shit. Skip it. Just bypass that mind however you can. But I have to say, Gina and Rana and everyone here, that I find that when I'm in a fasted state, I'm connected more to God and the source. When I was eating, and I'm sure Steve's feeling this, and the people that may come back to eating, you just lose it. But you lose it even faster than you were beforehand. Like, even when I was eating in early 2018 and 17, I wasn't clean eating. I still had this type where I could still connect to God. But when I found that I fasted, because the connection was so much deeper and richer and so fulfilling, that when you start eating again, that you want that full fulfillment. You don't want just the petty stuff or just the glimpses here and there. You want it, I want it 24/7. And you crave for that hunger so much that you don't crave for the other hunger. And what you get, like you said, the rewards that you get, Gino. Like, I got goosebumps now because, like, I didn't know life could be like this. I didn't realise that, fasting is one huge, massive mechanism to the spiritual path and being with God and living on this and having that human experience here. Like, I had no idea. Like, what have you, like, I feel like saying, Master Fast System Realm, what the hell have you done to me? Because it's just too nice. And so I know, Rana, like what you say, you can't go back. And I'm a real definite believer with fasting as absolute, because I don't think you can go back and forth. I really don't. Depending on what you want and you desire, from my perspective and from what I understand in my experience, I'm not a being that can probably go back and forth to eating then fasting, because the confusion, until I get there, maybe it will take decades, unless I get there and have that balance with the food. And I'm thinking how I'm going to do that. Like, how do I socially eat? Is it just for celebrations now? I know I'll probably end up going liquid. I'm sure of it after this. There'll be a process of just liquid and no actual digestible food. But I don't feel, if I go back to eating or even eating 3 days a week, I know I will struggle. I know I will not be connected to source, because the connection is so strong when you're there. For me, it could be different for other people, but for me, it's so powerfully strong that if I'm not in that, I just miss me too much. I just miss me. So that's the way I feel. And fortunately for me, God's got me. Like, I'm 100% let go. surrendered. You got me. The world hasn't got me. Worldly things, it's still there. I know it's there, but I'm more moving away from it. And my responsibility in God is a lot more higher, like it's a lot more intense than it is for the worldly things. And that's where I find my focus and my love and everything is gone, because I know I can't serve the human planet like how we are if I'm stuck in the world. I can only serve it from there, because I would be destroyed completely. You know what I mean? My whole beingness of having this human experience for me would be destroyed. So I have to, for me, where I'm feeling now today, after that 3-day dry, going through Easter and doing all that, like, you know, what do I do with this information? Like, I can't just not wake up the next morning and go back to the other way. It's just not going to happen. That's how I feel. I know, yes, I don't know if that's too intense for people for me to express that, but that's the way I'm feeling, Gina and Rana and everyone. I really am feeling this intensity to be with the soul, and the fasting, and when I do my 3-day dry fast, the magnetic pull is just too strong. It's really, really powerful. Yeah. Does that help? Am I making logic or making some sort of, am I just too whoopy?
The thing is that when we're living a fasting lifestyle, even though we're choosing to eat, we're living a fasting lifestyle. We're not living an eating lifestyle. Like yourself, kind of going back and forth. We're choosing to eat for fun here and there and there. That's how we have to look at things if we want to start embracing the fasting lifestyle. Because if we're thinking, oh, we're going to go back to eat and then we'll fast, we get fasting completely out of your mind. No, fasting is always on my mind. Eating is the thing that you don't want on your mind. I'm like, okay, I'll eat today for fun, blah, 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 tomorrow, whatever. And look at it that way. The other thing is people forget very quickly where they came from before they started a fast. And I'll give an example. I just spoke to somebody a few days ago who was very in a state that they believe they were losing it, and this, that, and the other thing. They did a couple 108 days fast and so on and so forth. But they're living a pretty good life compared to where they started. You know, being not able to move around. You know, they mentioned that the son would say, "I remember when you were, you know, staying in one corner and didn't move for the whole day." Now they're doing everything, but in their mind, they're not doing well. I go, well, do you remember where you came from? Because I do. And when you start going back in the memory to remember where you came from, even from just a couple of fasts, you know, doing this a couple of years, there's huge improvements, huge. But the emotional things with the eating, like a lot of people are having the challenges with the eating. They go with too much eating and so on and stuff, and they feel it.
It's too intense. It's
so intense. They feel like they're in a worse state now than when they started. I go, really? You want to go back where you were? No. I'll go, oh, okay. So you're in a better place. Oh yeah, much better place. And you come to the realization of what they left behind in this lifestyle. It's just a part of the process. Continue and wrap your mind around that and work with what you have, and don't focus on where you don't focus on the little challenges. Focus on where you want to go and where you came from for remembering, and continue with that, because you're going in the right direction. There's nothing you're doing that's wrong or anything. Just, you know, you don't want to do another 108 days. You don't have to do 108 days now. When you're ready, you do it. Do 30, 40 days at a time, whatever. It doesn't matter. And continue with your dry fast and so on. You're living the fasting lifestyle. That GI tract, once it's opened up and clean, it's never going to respond the same to food like you used to be. If you want to go back to that state, you can work at it. I don't know how many years it'll take you. It'll take you a while to go back to where you were in that state and be numbed completely out. Some people have done that. They put themselves back in those states. It'll take a while. It'll take a lot of hard work, a lot of eating. But eventually you can get back to that state if you choose.
Another thing is that some people have completely lost connection with us on Facebook. And, you know, their life, like their surrounding, their social life is like everybody else's. Nobody around them fasts, you know. And so you're fasting by yourself, and you think like, I can take a break and not be connected with similar like-minded people, and that's gonna be hard. Yeah, I mean, we have heard from two people not too long ago, but
Livia, I noticed this too with fasting, nothing is sticking. Change the belief system. So much comes flooding up, moves fast emotionally. It always does. Emotion is seed. And I feel very dedicated and have much deeper awareness of what's going on. Almost like soul sources showing everything. Of course, it all comes to the surface. It's the mirror of truth. You can't lie to yourself when you're in a fasting state. It's impossible. I see that too with my mom. The scared 3-year-old completely runs her life. Yep. Emotion is seed. And when you get in that fasting state, that mirror of truth is right there. You can run, but you can't hide. The truth will be revealed. And a lot of people, they can't handle that. And they will try and numb themselves out again so they don't have to face the mirror of truth. And I see that a lot in the last 3 decades. A lot. So if you...
Gina, I was just going to say, one thing I don't understand, like I always wake up in gratitude, right? So you know how we got 2 arms, 2 legs, we can see, we can talk, we can hear, we've got all our senses going, all of us here right now. Everyone here, we have the ability to get up off the chair and walk, right? So we have this this vessel, this physical form, which, by the way, I can see, you know how you do change, you know, you see things changing in you and your form changing. And so there's many people in the world that don't, like, we have a roof over our head, we have a bed that most of us sleep on, we have the there's a lot of freedom that we have that I feel, well, maybe could be talking from my genetics, I don't know, looking at my grandparents and even my parents, I think we're less privileged than myself as a woman, an Indian woman, I don't know. But anyway, I see see a lot of gratitude, and I think the gratitude is really taps you into the joy, like that feeling of that high expansion of joy. And there's nothing why do we complain? Because there's nothing. I don't understand the judgments and the opinions, because we should we're blessed, like, to have a gift of fasting is such a gift beyond anything you can, like, I could ever imagine anyway, part of my lifestyle now. But yeah, gratitude to I can speak and express, and you're hearing me and giving me this space to speak. Gratitude for allowing me my love expansion to come through and flow that through in this place here. So, like, that's all. Yeah, that part, like, yeah, I just find, maybe because I'm in a fasted state, so I find, like, why complain? Like, why? Why focus on that?
Yeah, that's what's missed. You hit it right on
Yeah.
the gratitude part. We're not grateful in gratitude for where we are, and what how we're living, and so on and so forth. Like, there's so much to be grateful for.
We are blessed
in this life. And like I said, it's speaking about this other person. My goodness, like, remember where you came from and look at now. Like, what's going on, why, but this is where, when we're out there and socializing and so on and so forth, this is where we get drawn down into that lower vibration realm, if we want to call it that, the lower field strength realm, where everybody's in that numbed out state. They're all happy. They don't know nothing what's going on in their body. They don't feel anything. They're on some kind of pharmaceutical, whatever. Probably 80% of people have some kind of pharmaceutical in their homes these days. It's just insanity. There's nobody that's really able to be in that state of soul and gratitude, 24 hours, 7 days a week. There's very, very few people in that state out there. Just look at what's out there. Look at what people focus on. Look at what people are doing. They're killing each other's, stabbing each other in the back, this, that, and the other thing. It's just crazy. It's nonsense. Look what's happening with the legal systems around natural things. They're all trying to shut it all down. We just want to be with our plants. Leave us alone. Who the hell are you to tell me what to do? It's happening in Canada. It's happening in the U.S. It's happening around the world.
I honestly don't believe that whoever is the few people who are in power in the world, I don't think they'll go far. I mean, they have gone far, but I don't think they're gonna go too much further. I just don't see it because we are very powerful today with the internet. I really guys, we are so blessed. We have information that our parents and our grandparents that didn't have. We have power. We can grow plants here in our own home, if we want.
They force injected 500 children in New York already. Vaccines. Over 500 children.
Yeah, and some people will be sacrificed, in this as the system changes. But I can see that there's no way that the system won't change. It will eventually change because the truth is out there.
People need to wake up, and when that state of enlightenment comes to the masses, I feel sorry for the powers that be.
It's okay. Don't feel sorry for them. They have the chance.
We can only elevate their souls. There's going to be all kinds of stuff going on.
I hope I live that long. Sorry.
Yeah, they're going to be able to run, but they won't be able to hide. Let's put it that way.
Don't be surprised.
Everybody, it's they've had their run for enough thousands of years. The day will come.
And it's not like it makes them any happier to be empowered, in the wrong place, in the wrong way, It really does not make them any happier.
The stuff that they bring into legislation is so ludicrous these days. Is it like you're trying? Is this happening, or is this a movie I'm watching? It's so ludicrous. It's just insanity. The judgments that are happening and stuff. I sometimes I'm going, is this?
It's getting worse.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of bad stuff that happened this week. I have a very dark view of what's happening. Actually, I don't think it's getting better.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think the internet's great, but there's a lot of censorship that's happening, and there's starting to be book censorship and.
Yeah. It's always been there, but the worse it gets, there has to be the balance of the better it gets. There has to be. This is the way if this planet has to self-destruct for us to get into that latent state, it will happen.
But before we look at the people in power, look at every single individual. We are responsible for this message. We really are. I mean, it is we're not responsible, really. We're not. I mean, we can
neighbors ratting each other out.
I can do a much better job in my life. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that were fighting in California this week, and a lot of moms and their children and whole families went to the state capitol to fight this awful law there. And they all came together and made sacrifices to be there, and yet the law still passed in the most absurd of circumstances you could ever imagine. I couldn't even listen to the politicians push it through in what seemed like less than a few hours, with no scientific background to support anything that they were saying. And yet you had hundreds, if not thousands, of vaccine-injured families there. And it was heartbreaking. I can relate on a personal level to all of that. And yet, they were happy that they all came together and that they were sharing energy together and hopefully gonna create more in numbers. But this is all not without purpose and intent to combat the darkness and the legislation. It's people have to start speaking up now, and I speak up even more right now than I would than I would have a couple months ago. And people are making plans to leave certain states and move around and even go to different countries. Not that that's going to help necessarily. I mean, I think if we've gotten to the point where you can't outrun it.
The biggest thing that most people don't understand is they own your corporation. They don't own your flesh and blood.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And if
God
you don't know how to
knows.
differentiate the two, you should learn.
New York thinks they own everybody.
Sorry?
Yeah, then you're talking about
New
the
York
straw.
thinks they own everybody.
Yeah, you're talking about the straw man, aren't you? When you're born, they stamp your soul, and that actually goes to the Vatican. So you're already owned as soon as you become born. But my parents aren't owned. They never got that. They were lucky they escaped that. But when you know that, like I know, like my husband, I know this. When you know that, you have, because that's the prison of the mind, right? It's a very spiritual thing that they've done. But when you know that, then you're able to rise above that, okay? And then they haven't got control over you. Okay, so say for example, because the vaccination thing's all coming to Australia as well, it's all happening here, and I go, okay, I get forced, I'll get pinned down in a bed and they vaccinate me, right? I had no control or anything over that, but I do actually have a responsibility because I'm part of this game, and but guess what? I can fast.
Exactly. This is
And I can and I'm going to the soul, because the soul will eliminate that whatever's in my body and clean it out. Because you can actually, I've seen things where people hold it, like what's his name, Win Hof. It was a bowler. I don't know what he did, but anyway, didn't even come to in his body. So you've got to. That's where I kind of like the mind's good and the soul's in there, and the soul is controlling the mind. Because then you go, okay, if this happens, it's being strategic, isn't it? You're risk analysing everything. So if this happens, if this happens, then I'll do this, this, and this. And if the worst isn't the worst, you transition over.
Yeah, so there's no way anybody has control over us. The ultimate control is God's. God is controlling everybody's life. That's it. Nobody has power over you unless you say they have power over you. They don't have power over us.
You stand up your rights, or you don't have it.
If they say you have to get injected and this and that, I mean, we were all vaccinated. Okay, we can detox. There, we have a power right there. I mean, that's what you said, Ranjit, too, right? Right there. What else? There's no way they can take control over. If they take control over the seeds and they start, patenting the fruits and vegetables, and we have to buy them from them. We can grow our own fruits and vegetables. We can fast. I mean, there is always something. We're catching up. We're always faster. As long as you're close to God, you're gonna be fast. You're gonna evolve faster than them. I mean, hey, guys, we are evolving faster when it comes to allowing the body to heal itself compared to the mainstream, right? We know much more. So we have it.
We know much less. They know more. Yeah, you need to stand up for your rights in the flesh and blood, not in the person. You really need to learn this stuff and understand it. Yes, they have control over the person, which is a corporation. They own the children of the marriage when you sign a contract and so on and so forth. All this crap. It's all totally diabolical what they've done. But it's
they own your marriage.
They always have to they'll give you notice of what they're doing, and the notice is all in front of your eyes in plain sight. And everybody misses it. Everybody misses it. I started knowing about this stuff in just about the time just before I started fasting. And there's a big revelation on all the garbage they do and how they run everything and control everything. But this is where it's got. And most people will rat you out and and support the system which is against them. That's how ludicrous it is, and how much of masters they are at controlling the masses. So we as people, we do have the power. So what can we do? We can be the change. We can raise our field strength. That field strength will influence others at soul level. We're not talking physical, because the physical stuff, you're talking to them, they're in a numbed out state. They don't know what's going on. They can't comprehend common sense and logic anymore. They're in that complete numbed out state, being controlled by all the frequencies, this, that, and the other thing, and the garbage in the food and the chemicals and the programming and blah, 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 blah.
And it's okay. I mean, honestly, let's just focus on changing ourselves.
Be the change. Be the change. Be the change.
And don't worry about if somebody doesn't change. Yeah, it's okay. Let them be the way they are.
We look at what's going on, so we're not totally out of whack of it. We look at it, but we don't put any energy to it.
We don't allow
we
it
put
to
the energy in the be the change you want to see.
Yeah,
that's where we put all our energy and focus.
You don't want to slow down because they're slowing down. No way. This is an excuse.
So we need to fast more.
Yeah, you cannot make it. I mean, you can't play that game where you say, "Oh, but this and that." No, this is all excuses. Come on, guys, you can be stronger than this. You can do better. Everybody knows we can do better. I know I can do much better at many things in my life.
So they lock you up, put you away. You'll come out stronger. So meditate all day, 24 hours a day.
So, yeah. So I guess let's just work on ourselves.
It's a crazy world, and it's a beautiful, amazing world. And at the same time,
the contrast is huge between the good and the bad.
This thing about going to hell, the hell is right here. For people who choose that realm. It's right in front of your eyes, and heaven is right here, right in front of your eyes. Choose your place. Choose your place. Yeah, well, it's the same. It's just a different field strength. One's matterless, and this realm is with matter.
Yeah, I don't see how you would go to heaven when you are living in hell here. There's I just don't see it. It's gonna be, you're gonna be on the right path here or there, right? Right? Here or there, today or after life, it's the right path. The right path.
If you're in the state where you're in hell and you're influencing positive changes in hell, what's the difference?
Yeah, I don't see that. You wouldn't go to hell if you're good. You wouldn't be there. God knows what He's doing.
Okay.
Actually, I got a question for you. I very rarely have questions for you, but I got one. This is to entertain my mind, okay? So I just want to have a little bit of fun. Out of all the people that have done long MFs with Master Fast Systems with you guys that you know of, has there ever been anyone that has done it through the intellect?
The intellect.
Through the mind. So all those ones that have done 108 days, I've seen all the interviews.
There's a few, and they're gone, long gone.
Of course.
Long gone. Don't even hear a squeak from them.
Many people are more into the scientific explanation and how things are working and trying to explain everything that's happening. I don't know why. I mean, we don't want to publish a book about what happened, because I mean, you can only know so much. Even if you study science, the ins and outs of the fasting, you can only know so much. So
yeah.
But even those people, wouldn't they have been touched in some way from the spirit realm, or did they just put it aside?
If they actually did the fast, there's just no way you can't be touched. It's an impossibility. You can go into it with the intellect, get touched, and then probably get scared and go back to where they were, right? And that's happened to some people.
Yeah, so it's hard to say completely the mind or this spiritual experience. No. It's gonna be the same.
Well, I'll give you an example.
They're together.
I remember somebody who did blah blah blah. They were in the fast. Then they go to the doctor, get tests and this and that. You're deficient, this, that, and the other thing, and they start getting into that realm. And you're trying to say, let that go. It's gonna own you, and they're gone. Stuff like that, because they believe in the white jacket crap, right? Instead of listening to soul, which is talking to them, and I'm trying to explain the soul's talking to you, the body knows exactly what it's doing. Embrace it. No, they want to go get their tests, and they want the intellect to come into play.
Yeah, for sure.
That happens.
So they'll spiral out. It'll just automatically, they'll just slip
Yeah.
out and spiral out, so spiraling in. Okay.
And you said, Ranjit, you know, when you start eating, your mind, it becomes more the mind than the spiritual part. And of course, that happens to them as well. And when this happens, it's they probably, like, I mean, maybe they would say, I don't want to be in that place anymore. I just want to be here, because there's I don't know what it is. There's addiction to the food. There's comfort, you know, in the food, in eating. It reminds them of where they were before, not facing the truth. So yes, so when they break their fast, they do become more in the mind, and they give up, and they just don't come back, you know, don't come back to the master fast. It's a very different experience. So they just let go, and they say, no, master fast is not for me. Even though they had an amazing, if you see their posts, amazing experiences, but they give up on it after the fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a few of them.
Yeah.
And one of them picked something out about the fast to be angry about. And decided to sort of even bury it, not talk about, not even, not like it's erased it from their history, kind of interestingly enough. Another one wanted to, again, it was weird. I mean, almost in the same way, sort of erase it from history and pursue how eating heals, or an eating lifestyle heals. Gosh, I would say that about the both of them, perhaps, too. And then somebody else I knew went back to testing in other doctors and other modalities. But yeah, I would agree that it's all, the information is there, but they're choosing to handle it the way they want to handle that information.
Free will's a bitch, right? You know, the funny thing is, we've had all walks of life come into this realm, and when the soul has touched them, some people don't even recognize it. And like I said, for some people it's scary, and they want to shut it up and shut it off, right? And ignore it and go back to the realm of science and so on and so forth. Because we have not been taught. We have not been, actually, it's not that we have not been taught. We already have all the knowing within us, but we have been programmed to not listen to soul, right? We've been programmed to disconnect from soul and get into the intellect, into the matter states of things. And that's the challenge for people. So when you're doing these fasts, it's going against everything we've been programmed, everything. And it's a big wake-up call. The few who start to connect, get that little taste of nectar of God, you know, have challenges. Yeah, we're all going to have challenges, and keep going back and forth. And you start seeing how way they expand. Their whole being becomes metamorphosized, and the physical, mental, and emotional state. You know, it's just amazing. And it's this lifestyle is not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a thing where you really have to put that in that commitment and love it, live it and love it, and do whatever it takes, no matter what, no matter how long it takes. Because if you keep doing whatever you always have done, you keep getting what you've always have gotten. And people think that you're going to do a pill and your whole life's going to change, or you're going to do one fast and your whole life's going to change. You're going to have an experience, but your whole life's not going to change if you could go back to where you were.
Most people are not ready for a big, like, spiritual experience, in my opinion. We're just not ready, you know. So that's why I say, do it slowly, do it at your own pace. If you want to do 2 days, I tell my clients, if you want to do 1 day of master fast per week, this is a great achievement. And then do intermittent, like we do as well, 12 hours dry per day, and then maybe do some liquid, and then eat 2 meals a day. That's already huge. and then changing your diet, cleaning up your diet. So that's big. I mean, if that's good, if that's what works for you, even after 108 days, do that, right? And then maybe next year go for 2 days a week of master fast. The year after 3 days. You know, you have the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Really, and you're gonna feel amazing from the beginning.
Livia, so true. Gino can run but can't hide. So true. I love it. Elaine, the fasting is such a gift from God. Yes, I remember that I could barely walk a year ago. It feels so good to be in this call. They can't control our belief responses. Yeah. This is where we said, you know, people forget very easily when they leave their pain and suffering behind, a lot of it. And that's a funny thing. Like, if people would start writing down everything before they fast, all the challenges and stuff they have, and then after the fast, they write everything down, there's going to be a big difference in the list. Big difference.
Be connected with us here. Be connected with us so that you like stay in, you know, with like-minded people, because it's really can be very difficult when you go back and nobody around you is doing this. Watch the videos, even if you can make it live, you know, somehow be connected.
Yeah, it's not easy to be the black sheep, as sort of say, in this you know, in our modern societies. But I've pretty much always been the black sheep, so it's normal for me. I can't run with the crowd. So, I always differently.
Yes, Gina, I was going to say, this is what I have in my mind. If I'm doing opposite to the 99% of people out there, then I know I'm on the right path.
Exactly. The contrarian lifestyle, yeah. Just do opposite, and you're okay, you know.
You were there. You don't want to be there, right? You were with the 99%. So
it's life was challenging. Life was challenging.
You've tried.
And the politicians in many countries are making it more and more difficult. In this country, the taxes are going ballistic. They just brought out these carbon taxes and all this ridiculous stuff, and they want to add some more taxes and
it's okay.
whatever.
They want one. We know that.
Sure.
That's why I do the slow breathing, just in case they bring in the oxygen tax.
Exactly.
Sorry, it's just too funny. It's so ridiculous. It's just funny. Okay, so you're going to tax me for breathing oxygen or whatever in the air, which that happens. It's happening. My skin breathes. Your skin breathes anyway. Like, you don't have to breathe. Your skin. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's we have a lot of tools that we can learn to master, and by learning to master all the tools, little by little, you will need less and less and less of anything external. And that's the key. Just learning to master these tools. Learning to master these tools, which helps you learn to master the emotional state. So you're not on any more emotional roller coaster rides. You're always in control no matter what's happening out there. You can remain calm in every situation. So, danger, excitement, this, that, you're always in that stable element in yourself. So you can bring balance to thing in a dangerous situation, this, that, and the other thing. I've been in situations where, people are in really bad situations, and there's people freaking out, and I'm going, relax, let's take care of this. And they're just going ballistic, some people, see blood or this and that. Relax, we'll take care of it, we'll do the best we can. You're not helping. So we have to remain in our pose, in our posture, and it takes work and effort, because this is all the programming that has disconnected us from soul to be able to remain in these states. Because once you're connected to soul, you're stable. Little by little, we learn to master more and more and more, and it's all wonderful and amazing. I'm not a master at everything. I'm in the works, just like all of you, and we continue to work at it. We continue and we continue and we continue. But I am a master at making mistakes, and I've made more mistakes than most people. So we continue to keep going. And that's
Yeah,
how.
bring on the mistakes. Oh, I love it. I love it more and more of that stuff comes up. Bring it on. Like, come on. Let's deal with it. Get rid of it. Let it flow out as fast as possible. That's what I always think. Go deeper and deeper.
This is how we learn.
Yeah. Hey, Elaine, I was going to ask you a question. How long have you been with the Master Fast group? Because I know you've been there from me from the beginning, and I appreciate you so much. I really love you. You've been there. So I'm just curious.
I love you too, Ranjit, and thank you. You've been there for me too. So I started my first MFS on March 1st of 2018. So just over a year ago. Yeah, and I did a 40-day and then a 32-day right afterwards with just very minimal eating, so like a minimal hybrid. Then I did a 30-day in August to September, and then I did 17 days in January. And each time it's gotten a little more challenging for me to stick.
It's because as we go deeper with each fast, we peel in the deeper layers where we get into the deeper and deeper filth, like, it gets exposed. And it seems like it's getting harder because you are tapping into not only your own emotions, but emotions of the ancestors and so on and so forth. And these are really, really hard for a lot of us to come to terms with and bring balance to. Because they run very deep, many generations. So what do? We keep going. We keep going. We keep working at it because we have the understanding that it's all being worked out by us tapping into soul, by doing fasts. Like you're doing great. It's many fasts. You said you could barely walk. What other challenges did you have if you could barely walk?
So my feet were just in constant pain. I couldn't even stand, actually, because I would feel not just my foot pain, but I felt like the blood was draining down and I was just losing my ability to breathe. I don't know what that was. My thyroid was off. I was taking all kinds of hormones because I had severe menopausal symptoms. I was taking testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, thyroid medication, sleeping pills. I didn't even realize until Livia on the call tonight told me I was also taking benzos, which I had no idea.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. And I had no energy. I work full time as a teacher, and I would have to come home every day and just lie down for 2 hours.
And you're off of everything?
Everything.
Amazing. Now,
yes.
These benzo family of drugs, okay?
Yeah.
From what I've seen, all the experiences I've had with people, these are one of the most challenging and toughest to get out of the system. And you have to be patient, and you have to really be focused on where you want to go. And you have to come to the terms that entities will influence you when you're on these things until you get them out of your body. Okay? Negative influences from wherever, it doesn't matter. But when you tap into soul, these things run scared. They're not going to stick around. So what do? You keep going with no matter how many and how intense your healing reactions are. You have to have that grounding place where you know that you're going to come out stronger because this stuff is coming out of you. And the stronger healing reactions they are, the stronger you're going to come out because they're leaving your body. And how long is it going to take? I don't know. It takes usually years to get rid of all that med crap that we've taken in our lives, right? It takes years, but it's okay. Just keep going, keep doing. And it seems like you're getting tougher because you're getting into deeper layers. And some people have tasted foods or drugs they haven't taken in 20, 30 years by fasting. As they start, being purged, it's hard for us to comprehend how it all works, but it doesn't matter. We don't need to know that. All we know is that fasting is the gateway for everything to be released that
out of balance, and causing imbalances within the physical, mental, and emotional structures of our being. And that's all we need to know. And it's done in autopilot. And we use the tools to support ourselves through the difficult times. Without the tools, it would be very, very rough rides for a lot of people, and few people won't make it. Few people would die because the toxicity levels are so great, it overburdens the body, and things start shutting down. That's the state we are in a whole as at this time in day of age in humanity, because we've gone so far away from eating anything so-called natural, things prepared by corporations, people eating in restaurants. 99.999% of restaurants, what do they add to keep you addictive? Oils, salts, fats, and chemicals. They add all this crap so you keep going back because it's addictive. There's no such thing as eating healthy at a restaurant unless they're really into, keeping things raw basically. But, we have raw food restaurants. What do? They add oils, they add salts. And I go to these places sometimes, you don't feel good after eating that food. It's raw. It's all raw. Yeah, raw is law. You don't feel good? I feel good fasting. I feel freaking amazing when I'm fasting. Eating fruit is the one that affects the least. It still when you fast for a long time, you will see even fruit, you're going to feel it. Now, I don't care how pure and whatever the fruit is, you're still going to feel it, but nowhere near as all the other foods. So that's the foods we choose to go to when we choose to eat is mainly the least obstructive, the fruits, the salads and so on and so forth, leafy greens and some veggies and stuff if you want, and get into that. But it's a roller coaster ride, fasting, and once you've gone through a few cycles, you start to get the hang of it, and then what starts happening after like a year or two, you start getting more healing reactions, start seeming more challenging, and it gets frustrating for people because they think it should be over, right? Whereas you've just begun. 1-2 years, you've just begun. Honestly, you've just begun. Think about the decades of hard work to put yourself in that state of misery, pain, and suffering. It's going to take a few years to come out of that. Don't worry about it. But, you get those blissful states when you're in the fast, and that's what you should focus on. The healing reactions, those are the times we don't have to focus on them. We jump for joy because we know we're going to come out stronger. We focus on the blissful states, and because that's where we're going. when you're living and loving this lifestyle, that's where you're going. You're gonna get into those more and more and more. Are we going to be able to maintain a complete blissful state 24/7? I think it's possible. Probably mostly unlikely for most of us, because of all the influences, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you come to a state of enlightenment, I think you can get to that. But like I said, most of us probably will not get to that, but we can have most of our time in that state. Yes, for sure. Because, I'm in that state a lot. And that's the one we focus on. So, you're in this for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, guys. You're just getting started. So embrace it all and understand what's happening. Remember where you came from, because I've heard so many people and they think they're doing bad. And some of these people were in bed. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Okay, you're having challenges eating, but you were in bed before. Now you're not. You're doing things. So how bad is it? No, it's good. It's not bad at all. Yeah, you're gonna have challenges. You're gonna have challenges, guys. It's all part of the process. All part of the process.
Thank you, Gino. I really like that you said, you're having challenges eating. So what? Like, look at how you were before. Like, I was getting to the point where I was going to have to go off on disability. And then I discovered MFS, and I have not missed work.
Unbelievable, eh? It's amazing.
Yeah.
We've heard these stories over and over and over again.
And some cases are so severe, you know, it's just unreal. Like Marin's case, that's one there sticks in my mind because they butchered a poor soul so much. And, you know, the thing that really is amazing is that he was in that clinic in Germany with over 3,000 cancer patients. He was telling them what they're all doing, and they're all dead. Every single one of them are dead. He's the only one living, and they butchered him more than everybody else. How amazing is that? That Marin chose to focus on where he wants to go. And he's the only one. Everyone else complained to him, I can't eat like you, and you're too skinny, and blah, 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 blah. And they're all in the other realm, probably in a better place, but, you know, that's what they chose. So, you know, there's quite a few others that have crazy situations that they were in, and they pulled themselves out. Gabrielis, who was, you know, half his body was paralyzed. And I saw him do his first pull-up, first swim. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? You know, this Kelly, she went through a huge ordeal. Michelle Gibson, my God, listen to her story of what she went through. I don't know how some people survive through these things. And am I looking at what I went through? Mine's is nothing compared to what some of us, some others have went through. So, you know, it's, you know, whatever's happening to us is the worst that could ever happen until we find somebody that went through much worse. And so, yeah, it's a great blessing to be able to inspire people to take charge of their health, and look what happens. You know, you're back and taking control of your life, getting off all that freaking crap. Pharmaceutical, you know, the pharmaceutical industry, what their business is to keep you as a customer for your life. That's what they're in business for. Bottom line, for your life, they want you as a customer. So, do you want to play that game? Oh, it's your choice. But be responsible. Be responsible. You will get butchered up. Be responsible. You made the choice. Even though we were ignorant in everything, we have the tools out there to get informed. When we chose to not get informed, some of us, and go down those routes of being butchered and medicated to death, our responsibility for making those choices, not the doctors or pharmaceutical companies. We can put all the blame on them and everything, but it's our responsibility. You know, now they've made an arrest for the opioid epidemic in the U.S. The big pharmaceutical executive, whatever. It's good. It's going in the right direction. I don't think any of these companies should exist. Anything to do with drugs, you know, for emergency situations, should be all based on, supported by nonprofit, not for profit. If any of these things need to be used for emergency situations, et cetera, because that's really the only time some of these things can be useful, right? You need to get an operation, everything. You don't want to be doing it when you're awake. You want to be doing it when you're put under. You know what I'm trying to get to. So there's a purpose for everything, but what's happened is because it's for profit, it's corrupt. Right to the freaking bone. It's corrupt. And it's all coming out. I shared a link where all the top, all the pharmaceutical companies that got caught and were penalized in billions of dollars. And they're still in business. They're still in business. They just pay their fines and they're still in business. Why are they still in business? It's insanity. Because everybody's bought and sold. The political puppets, they're all bought and sold. So what do, guys? We be the change we want to see. We fast. We keep fasting, keep fasting, keep fasting, keep fasting, keep fasting. And we can see the clarity. We can cut through all the bull crap. You know, the intellect wants to dissect everything. I like that Sadhguru says it. You want to dissect everything to find out how it works. You can't do that with soul. I'm sorry. You can try and dissect it. You're not going to find the answers. You don't need to dissect it because all the answers are already there. You just have to access it, and you're connected to that source of all one creation, all knowledge. There's no need to dissect it. The knowledge is all available to us all. And the more we get into that realm of connecting, the more the answers will show up, and you'll start seeing more and more things and common sense will be very, very common because it isn't anymore. and you know, this is the place where I like to be. You know, I run into old friends and so on and so forth, and some of them are still stuck in those times, and they just can't get out of it. There's not much conversations that we can have because I'm not interested in all that stuff.
I was going to ask you, Gina, because and other people that've done long fasts and their dry fast, you know, when you fall into those meditative states, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you might be talking to your friends, Gina, and someone's trying to communicate with you, and they're in the intellect, and you're like in this other realm, and you can't actually. It's really quite hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. Like I just laugh so much with the soul when it happens. You really, and they're trying to say, like, what someone said to me, "Oh, what are you doing? What did you do today?" And I'm thinking, oh, I don't know how to like. I think it was on it how to answer that question because it's like I've been hanging out with the soul, get up in the morning, meditate on my intentions, surrendering, I'm fasting, got the 4-3-2 music on. I do a slow breathing, a walking nature. You know, you do all these things, and I know I'm not working at the moment, but like in a normal job type of thing. But like I do work with my husband though. But like I was just sort of thinking, you know, all this is happening, and I'm thinking, I don't know how to answer it. Like, I just sit there and go, oh, I did nothing. Oh, you seem really happy. Oh, yeah, very happy.
It's like you're trying to go down to the level to come to their understanding, but you've already been there. You don't want to go to that place anymore, right? It's a very strange place, but. And, you know, we do the best we can, and we can feed them through the soul, right? We can feed them through the soul because the intellect way, you're not going to be able to get through. It just won't happen until there's a spark and they're ready, and then the soul starts coming through them. And that's when you start seeing people change and get into this type of lifestyle. It won't happen before that. You'll be talking all you want, excited, and there's nothing. Like I gave up on talking about any of this stuff with most any people. We just had this new caregiver come with my mother, and you know, was talking about a few things, and she's seen. I go, no, my mother's not on any medication. We got her all off. They almost killed her. Blah blah blah. No medication. 80 years old. No, nothing. Just herbs. And then she started asking questions, right? And more. And then I answered. And she would ask more and more, and that's when I start sharing. Otherwise. You know, there's many other caregivers that came there. They didn't ask any questions, and I don't give them any answers. I don't give them anything. It just says, this is what we're doing. No drugs? No drugs, no medication. So you see the difference when there's that soul that has that spark, and people meet for certain reasons to, you know, nothing's by accident. And it's amazing, you know, what happens and how things transpire. Everything's for a purpose, right? Like myself, I never, ever seen myself doing this on a grand scale on the internet. I never seen myself doing this, but here I am doing it. You know, I never had no plans to share any of this information out there, none. And I kind of regret to some degree for what happened. And then at the other scale, I don't regret it at all from all the beautiful souls that have transpired and taken a hold and embraced and took charge of themselves.
Yeah, the positivity is much more than the negativity, for sure.
So
yeah, we were coming to you. You had to do it because we were coming. We wanted it.
It's like if the information's there, it's not from me. It's there. The information is there.
But we couldn't. There's no way in the world, you know, I would have done this on my own. Like, okay, there's all these other different types of mechanisms out there, and maybe I would have fell on one of them. You know, I don't know. But none of them ever talked about the spiritual aspect of fasting, because forget the crap. But I mean, for me, look, I know there's some good stuff out there. I do. I know there's some of the science and cleaning and all that, but that just entertains the mind. And because the awakening is, well, whatever, people waking up and all that sort of stuff's happening, as they say. But you know, you had to be here for that, for us, because like where would we group together. Somebody might have done it, who knows? Because if you didn't pick it up, maybe somebody else might have done it. But I'm glad it was you, for me anyway. And you had to. Yeah, timing was right, and everything fell into place, and
Yeah, I mean,
you got to meet Rana.
yeah, I mean, he has put a very, like, it's an excellent protocol together from his experience, 29-year experience. I have, before I met Gino, I did 100-day raw juice fast by myself. It was mainly cantaloupe, and there was no power. I tell you, there was no power. Yeah, I finished, and then I didn't want to fast at that time. I was not big on fasting. I just started my raw food maybe 6 months before. And a friend of mine wanted to lose weight, and he said, please do it with me. 100 days. I was not sure, but then, he insisted. So I said, fine, okay, let's do it together if that will help you stay focused. So I did I did it, and he didn't finish it. I put my mind, and I did 100 days. It was not hard, but it was not nearly as cleansing as Master Fast. And I said after that, I said I will never fast again, because I broke it, and I actually was like hemorrhoids and bleeding. Started eating like raw crackers and things like that after the fast. I started bleeding a lot of blood. But many things, the food, the cravings, I was like, no, this is not fun. I want to focus on eating raw food and just master eating properly. But then I met Gino, 2 years after that, through one of my clients who was doing the master fast. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys know, but that's how I met Gino, through one of my clients who was fasting, did 30-day master fast, and he did a colonic once a week with me. And the stuff that came out of him, I was like, what are you doing? I've never seen this come out of anyone before. He's like, this is Gino's fast. He always told me, you have to meet Gino, because Gino did 9 years 100% raw, and I was telling my clients raw food, So I got to meet Gino this way through YouTube, actually, because the client didn't give me his number. He was like, you have to come to my class. Anyways, because he teaches jiu-jitsu. So I didn't go to jiu-jitsu, but I said somebody must have talked about this on YouTube, because I used to watch everybody who talked about cleansing, detoxing, raw food, and then Gino came up. He just started making videos a few months before I found him.
It's funny that like I was there with how some people are stuck on the raw is law stuff.
You were
cooked juice. Yeah, I was there. They just can't let that go. They can't let it go
because they feel so good. They do actually. With raw food, like raw fruits and vegetables.
Wait 5 years, 10 years into how good they feel.
The difference from eating everything to fruits and vegetables raw is huge. So yeah, you will feel amazing. I mean, that's why I wanted to do raw food.
Look at the stories of all the people who got out of raw foods and veganism and went back to animal products.
Yeah, you'll find all kinds of stories.
Because you can't find resolution with diet.
Yeah, but definitely raw is like much nicer on the body. I'm sure many of you have experienced that as well. I said, okay. I met Gino. He gave me my herbs, and the day after I met him, I did 108 days. I said to Gino, because he did 108 days with his friend, right, with Max. So I told him, you did 108? Okay, I'll do 108. I've done 100 days before, so I can do 108. And I was ready to fast at that time. I was just feeling off raw food. I started eating cooked and stuff, So I was feeling really horrible. Anyways, on the master fast, I felt the transformation. There is no comparison. Raw juice fast and master fast, there's no comparison. I felt that the release, 108 days, I felt amazing. It just got better and better. Yeah, I became very small, but that's the only thing. I felt like I was dreaming. This is how good I felt. Especially after 2 months, 3 months, that period, it felt really, really good. And then when I started eating, it didn't feel good again. And the cycle continues.
Yeah, it's interesting things that go on. As time goes on, we'll see many things unfold, because once you're into the soul realm, everything's possible. It's limitless what happens.
It's
you know,
beautiful.
there's just
The prayers are deeper. It's so beautiful.
yeah, like if with just what the people that have shared, you know, in the interviews and stuff, if that's not enough for people, it's never enough. It's never going to be enough. If you can't see what's happening with people on this lifestyle, it'll never be enough with the information that we've already shared. The only thing missing is the experiences, so you can come to the understanding. That's it. That's it. There's no other way. It doesn't matter if there's 10,000 people that, you know, started sharing videos and this. It's not going to make a difference. It's the experiences that'll bring the revelation and the realization of what it is. And one is not going to do it. It's got to be many. And keep doing it over and over and over. Talk to the people who are living and loving the lifestyle, not the naysayers. That's only thing.
Yeah,
we
but
can
a long
recommend.
fast is not everybody's ready for a long fast. So I stress, please do not do a long fast if you're not ready. Just do 1 day a week of massive fast or 2 days a week.
This is why the support group is vital, important for people to stay connected. It's going to be very, very challenging for people to do it on their own. It's not impossible, but very challenging. You'd have to be a very strong, determined person to do it on your own.
To break your fast, not to fast. To break your fast on your own.
To live it, to live the lifestyle, to live it.
To live the lifestyle, yes.
I'm not talking about just the fast, the whole lifestyle, which includes fasting, includes eating, because we're continuously shifting.
Yeah. Focus on eating cleaner, incorporate more fasting days into your lifestyle. Go at your own pace. You know your lifestyle. We don't know your lifestyle. You know where you are, at what level. So choose what's best for you. If it's 1 day, 2 days, it's enough. It's okay. It's more than enough. Coming from a standard diet, it's more than enough. And cleaning up your diet during the week. Or whenever, have fasting days and clean eating days and intermittent fasting as well.
Yeah, well, you know, some serious cases, people, you know, wanted to kill themselves and so on and so forth, and they broke through that only through fasting. They broke through that phase, severe depressions and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but it's not only about coming out of it, it's about sustaining it, right?
Yeah, but you have to break through that huge barrier in order to be able to get to sustain it. And how do you breaking through the barriers get you getting through the fast, but how do you sustain? You got to stay connected with people, like-minded people.
Yeah.
There's no other way. There's no other way. Just like Steve shared with, you know, with alcoholism, there's always groups. They're always connected. You're not going to, it's not going to be an easy thing to try and do it on your own. You need that connection of people going through it and being able to talk and that. Because out there, what is it? Nobody gives a shit about you.
It's different. Yeah, you want to be with people who are going through the same experience.
So you know, this is, you know, just as much for us as it for you guys, you know, because of what's out there. It's just, it doesn't matter. I've been doing this 3 decades. People don't care. They talk to me like I just started. I'm ludicrous, right? What are you gonna do all this fasting for? You don't need to fast.
Can I say something about this, Gino?
First.
Yeah, I ran it. I think this is what I've been missing, and I've been recreating this connection because I even had my own parents who worked to convince my daughters that I was being a bad parent doing this because I had an eating disorder and I was modeling for them eating disorder behavior. So my parents stopped talking to me for months.
Mm.
And it can be really crazy, man. Like, then I start to think, oh my gosh, my kids are going to believe my parents. And so
So for your
I
parents,
need this community.
just think about it this way: your parents would rather see you in misery, pain, and suffering on the disability than where you are now.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
You see how ludicrous the thinking is out there, not only your parent, but out there. That's what's going on. That's
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
are feeling better than they've ever felt. They're skin and bone, some of them, but they feel better than they've ever felt. But no, it's better that they were in the disability state. They can't do anything in pain and suffering. This is what's going on out there. And I'm going, oh my goodness gracious. What did I do? I shouldn't have shared anything.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. Thank God.
It's just, I can't wrap my mind around that thinking.
But this is people now. That's it.
But that's what's out there. And I've been 3 decades of listening to this garbage, but I'm still doing it because I don't listen to the garbage.
Yeah, and see, that's the point I need to get to, because I think not only my food cravings, but also my real fear of the judgments. Those are my 2 biggest struggles to stay on, even more so than any detox symptom I have. Yeah.
Emotions, seed of all. So
Yeah.
let's tap into the strongest field strength, which we like to call plasma love always flowing.
Yeah.
Tap into that source because it's always flowing from creation, continuously giving. So we tap into that, and we actually start spreading it by giving, so we can receive more and more. Because if you don't give, the receiving can't happen. This is the laws of basic creation. This is how it all starts. Creation started by giving, and it continues that way, and it continues to expand in all directions. Inwards and outwards. So we have that basic understanding. Do we have to know exactly how it works? No, but we have the basic understanding, and we can work with that and go through the process and allow the autopilot to kick in. And it's a beautiful thing.
Ellen, if you're having a lot of judgment, do slow down with the fast. Yeah, I know it's a lifestyle again, right? So see what's best for you. You can plan it so that they don't judge you, so that basically you don't lose so much weight, so they don't judge you, and you still eat, so they see you eat. When you go out and when you meet up with them, plan it. They will see you. Okay, they will see you have done a long fast and you are still fine. They will not judge you as much the next time. So they will get used to you, but maybe it was a shock for them. It's always a shock for the family.
Yeah.
Yes, and also I'm skinny. I haven't gained much weight back since I lost it all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time sometimes.
Yeah.
When I started, it took me over 2 years to stay with my weight again. So some people take longer. But you don't want to be putting on waste again.
No.
What do you want to carry that crap for?
How was your eating? Was it was it clean or so?
So the past several months, it's been difficult to stay clean. I have not veered from being vegan, but I've been eating quite a bit of fat the last few months, just like nuts and things like that.
Overeating?
And not, pardon me?
Overeating?
Sometimes, yes. Not always.
Be very careful with the fats. They're not a place where you really want to go because they plug you up.
You feel it. She knows.
Okay.
The easiest ones to work with, not nuts and nuts. Some seeds, pumpkin, sunflower or hemp seeds are one of the easier ones to digest, but small amounts. Like I'm talking about, you're doing a teaspoon of it or something every once in a while. That's what I'm talking about. Avocados, you really don't want to go there unless you have one every few months.
Some people have lots of oils.
Oh no, no oils. You want to be with oils. But,
Oils.
the other ones are good. Durian, a little bit of durian, 30% fat. Olives, 20% fat. But again, you don't want to be doing these all the time. You will feel when you're at a much cleaner state. The best thing to what's really a good fruit that's satisfying that's available? I don't know where you are. Jackfruit.
I'm very close to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
jackfruit. You like jackfruit? It's very satisfying.
Yeah.
Very satisfying. And it's no fat. So and they come from Mexico. They're pretty cheap. So you can dwell on some of that. You know, the non-sweet fruits. Like I say, what's it called? The Oriental eggplant, the long purple one.
Eggplant.
That's I use that like bread, right? You know, chop it up, and then you can make sauces or whatever you want to do. There's lots of things that can help you emotionally. Some cooked fruit, you know, it helps you emotionally. Whatever, any fruit. So there's so much you can do. Getting into the nuts, you're really gonna pay the price on that stuff. I'm glad you're still in a place where you're able to function and do things and everything, because with the fasting that you've done has got rid of a lot of gunk.
Yeah.
You're in that better place. But if you go into those foods, what happens slowly but surely, you start building again. Especially if you stop fasting. Then you're going to do it faster.
And the craving.
It's what you, yeah, isn't it? What you do in between the fasts is what's important. So, like I think with Elaine, because you're doing small fasts, and then you're breaking, and then you're fasting, and then so Gino, isn't it really important? Like nuts I would think would be very harsh on the system. Like I had no desire for nuts when I broke, but yeah. I'm just thinking. Yeah, in between.
You know, the key is maintaining the dry fasting schedule for sure, because those are your resets. If you don't do that, then you start getting into trouble because you're obstructing continuously. If you're eating 7 days a week, you're obstructing. You need to have a regime of fasting continuously, even if you're not doing many master fasts, full master fast. But the nuts are they drive you nuts. You know, you eat too many nuts, you go nuts. they're just think about like an almond. That's the information of a whole massive tree in there, right? One little almond. That has the information of a massive tree, and the same with all the other nuts and seeds and so on and so forth. So we really want to limit these things, and I'll do nuts very, very rarely, every several months or so, and don't touch them in small amounts, because the more you eat, the more you want to eat, and you get into that trap. So we don't want to really go there. A lot of people go to the fats because the fats put you in that numbing state, so you don't feel that kind of cleansing state, and it puts you in that numbing state, you know, heavier, it's more satisfied, and also it helps some people put on weight, right? So they gravitate toward that. And also, if we find the more you're in a polluted area, the more cravings you'll have for the fats. Why? Because it numbs out the detoxing effects of you taking in all the pollutants in the cities and so on and so forth. So if you do fats, it numbs you out, so you don't feel it. It blocks you up.
Because the energy goes to the digestion.
You fast and fast and fast. You're continuously going to feel kind of a detoxing state. Especially if you're just eating fruit and you're doing a lot of fasting, you're going to continuously feel, and you'll probably never let that go if you're living in this environment of heavy city and so on and so forth. So you have to come to that understanding. of what fat does to the body. It numbs you out. It's addictive. It numbs you out. It's stimulating, and it plugs you up, right? That's what fats do. Fats, proteins. I don't know which one is more plugging. Maybe fats to a little more, but they're both very heavy on the system. So
I remember when I did. I remember when I did raw foods for 2 years, which was when David Wolf come out. It was trying to promote eating lots of avocados. Anyway, so my husband and I tried, and honestly, I couldn't get through like 2 avocados a day. Like it was just really, really difficult. And so I just went with my intuition. I said, "Oh, I don't think we're meant to be having 6 and 7 avocados a day. I don't think that just seems like overindulgent to me." And I used to, if I had any more than 2 avocados a day, and even the nuts, the almond nuts, because they said you had to soak the nuts, so it, I don't know, it's enzymes or whatever, so it was easier on the digestive system, because we used to make our own nut milk. Crazy stuff we do, hey? And I remember the avocados. I'm going, avocados are expensive anyway, right? So you're going to go have 6 or 7 avocados, and I used to feel like crap afterwards. I used to feel so heavy and very brain foggy. And so we cut out avocados when we were doing our raw food. We more went into the herby stuff and less fat, and still had our nut milk though. But yeah, there's something with fat, because even when I did the keto, and I thought it was me, when I did the keto for 2 weeks, and they tell you to have a lot of fat so you're more satisfied, and then you do your intermittent fasting, but then they say you have a lot of greens to neutralize the whatever, according to that crap stuff that they tell you. I remember then, like, I felt really sick too.
Yeah. They do. I think they do vegetables. Maybe
no sweet fruits. God forbid, no sugar.
To move their bowels, because they're really, like, you can be very obstructed on that diet. Fat and protein.
Yeah. Anybody that is on those diets, their bowels don't work. Yeah. It plugs you up pretty bad. So
my bowels were so super bowels after the 109 days. Let me tell you, they were super. And sometimes they work on their own. Sometimes I'm thinking, especially after 3-day dries, you go, like, I haven't done a colonic or anything. What the hell? Why is that stuff still come out? But it comes out.
Yeah.
Yep. Unless you've experienced super bowels, you don't know what it is.
It's worth doing the fast just for the super bowels, because that's an experience in itself. That is like, oh, is that what my body's supposed to how to excrete? Not the other way, which you thought for 20 or 30 years, you go, oh, sometimes you don't go to the toilet for 3 or 4 days. And now they say that's normal.
Yeah.
And but you go do your master fast system, and then you go to the toilet and you go, holy moly, I feel so fantastic.
It's amazing. Like, this is the way they're supposed to work, right? When everything's alive and we're moving properly and the body doesn't have any obstructions, that's how the bowels work, man. They just bang. It's time to go. It's out. It's done. Complete.
It was worth breaking, Rana. You encouraged me. You got to break. Have the experience. It was worth breaking just for that. Just for that. I should have videoed myself after I did my first super bowel experience. I should have done one in our group. It was amazing.
Yeah. Like, just think about situations that we're in, working this, that, and the other, and you got to go to the bathroom, have a bowel movement. What do? We have to hold it. And then next time we hold it, and the next time we hold it, next time we hold it. So what that starts doing is training the bowels to be weaker and weaker and weaker. When you have super bowels, try and hold it. Good luck. When you gotta go, you gotta go. And it's not diarrhea. You gotta go. The body wants that out because it's obstructive and the body wants to release it very quickly. I remember where I was one time. I ended up in a parking lot, and I had to go to the bathroom. I'm going, where's the bathroom? I ran into these trees. I couldn't hold it, man. 2 seconds, I come back. I think my sister, she goes, you didn't have a bowel movement, did you? Yeah. That fast? Yeah, I'm done. No toilet paper, because even if you use the toilet paper, there's nothing to wipe because it's all complete the way that the anus is supposed to work, and so on and so forth with everything. It's funny to talk about these things, but you know, the most civilized societies use the most toilet paper. Why? Because they're plugged up. Constipation nation. If you're constipated here, you're constipated here. 100% guaranteed. Guaranteed. How can you put any sense into somebody who's constipated? You can't.
You save so much on toilet paper. I tell you, I've done the maths on it. Toilet paper itself, always putting that chemical up, on you if you keep going like you do. Super bowels, use less.
Oh man, like how backwards societies have gone is just wow. Wow, so far away from what our true being can be. It's just
They know better, but it's just everybody knows better, but they're not. They're just too used to their ways. They know better. They know what they're supposed to be eating. They know they're supposed to be eating the fruits and the vegetables, God's food. But
we're supposed to be eating light. Forget about food, because we're already doing it.
yeah.
Let's learn to tap into the plasmatic pranic fields, the light fields. We're already doing it all the time, all day. Let's be conscious of it, and the more conscious of it you are, you will notice every time you fast, you will lose more and more of that fear in those fasting states, which a lot of us go through and experience, because the answers show up in plain sight. You're going to have more energy and this and that, and you're going to go, wait a minute, is this possible? I haven't eaten. You start getting the answers. Of course it's possible. You're not eating. Instead of the monkey mind saying, oh, you got to eat. You haven't been out, blah, 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 bull crap. So the answers start showing up with the experiences. And we become more and more conscious of it. And the more we, become more conscious of it, the more conscious we become of it. And we think about it. We stay in that state more and more and more and more and more as the years go by. Even, at 3 decades, there's still that monkey mind doesn't go away completely, but you can tame it, right? You can tame it. You can teach it to go feed itself in the jungle. You don't have to feed it. Because if we feed it, and it keeps sticking around. So we let it go. We love it, and we put it back to where it belongs, in the jungle.
Yeah, I don't mind letting it out every now and then, just for a bit of fun. That's all I do it for, a bit of fun. Hey, I was going to tell you something. I forgot to tell you last week. In Australia, they had the first Pranic Festival, which was just 2 hours up the road from me.
Oh, really?
I made it first one ever. They didn't have many people, I don't think, but I didn't go, right? And the reason I didn't go was because this is where focus and hyper-focus is so important, because I was very tempted to go to meet other people that are fasting. I just didn't want to go because I know they'd be marketing, whatever they call it, 9-day initiation or 21-day initiation, whatever these things they talk about. And because the focus is so much in this realm that if I went, I would have met some beautiful people. I might go next year. I would have met some beautiful people, wonderful, could have promoted what I was doing and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't want to do that. I just didn't want to get confused, right? Because my path, I feel, is with the soul, that I have to not let information come in. I have to be with it, this thing, and God source and that innerness, because I thought if I did go, then even the soul stuff would get confusing, because I know there's a lot of those different spiritual paths and people say different things, and I think it's a personal, unique journey. Like everyone individually goes through whatever they go through in a unique way. But if you start getting information about, oh, maybe I should go and do a 9-day initiation, or go do this or go do that, then I'm on 180 days, then you've got to really channel in that and trust that. Yeah, but they had the first one. I haven't really gone into and looked at what how it all went, but hopefully next year they might have another one. And I can meet people.
We've had a few that have done those that are doing master fast. That have done those prior. Jumping from the eating realm to pranic realm, is it possible? Yeah. Most unlikely for people. It's they put fasting in a different category than pranic. I don't. Fasting is a pranic state. You choose what state you want to be. You don't have to be following anybody's opinions and definitions of it. Fasting state is the spiritual state, is a pranic state. And you can live a fasting lifestyle. If you want to call it pranic lifestyle, live pranic, you can call it a pranic lifestyle. But I with the thing realm of MFS, we're doing kind of our own thing. They have these ways that I don't feel is great for people to do these massive changes. People get in trouble and so on and so forth.
I mean, master fast is big enough of a change.
Yeah. I'm just gonna, I stick to what I know, and I have a lot of years behind it. I follow a lot of, not a lot, but a few of the people on the pranic journeys and so on and so forth, and I have been for years. And it's a wonderful place. The communities are growing, more and more people are becoming more aware of it, and so on and so forth. But even in the Master Fast page, when I talk about it, people still ridicule it and so on and so forth, whatever. We're all living on those different fields of energy.
It's a lifestyle again.
But we're all doing it anyway. We're not eating 24 hours a day. We're using all those different forms of subtle energies all the time. The sun, the air, the earth, the invisible rays we don't see, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The plants, the trees, the planets, the stars. We're continuously interacting with those fields. And whether you believe it or not, well, it doesn't matter because it's there.
Yeah, so it's a lifestyle. I mean, like we said, Master Fast is, already a big change in lifestyle. So I would say do it slowly. And next year, increase it more. You can increase your fasting days and dry fasting hours, and keep increasing and increasing and going towards prana. But do it in a more controllable way so that it's not a big shock to...
There's no rush. There's no rush. As you said, Ranjit, you don't want to be confused. The same thing as me. Because I've been led down the many paths of confusion by listening to so many out there, I'm very reluctant to listen to other ways. I go within and experience. I go within and experience. I go within and experience. And then I relate to who was speaking into the correct direction from my experiences. And the challenge with that is when somebody comes from a sad diet and they say, well, I have to break the fast, I have to listen to my body. No, you're listening to a plugged up body, which is giving you all false information. And that's the difficulty to get that information through to people. Until you start clearing it out, then you'll understand the difference of listening to your body when it's awakened. When you put food in the body says, what the hell are you doing eating? Then the body's starting to awaken. when you're saying, when you're in a fast and the body's telling you got to eat, you're not listening to soul. Guaranteed, 100%. Yeah, whatever you're listening to, it ain't soul. Soul doesn't eat food. So there's a difference. And, we continue to, play in these realms and have fun and share and inspire and support each other, because what else are we going to do? Go back to eating? We've already done that for decades. How much more do we need to do? We can still enjoy it here and there. No big deal. Let's keep it as clean as we can. And once in a while, when they fall off a little with the heavier stuff, okay, my body's, I understand. And we go back and we fast. And this is part of the process. There's not going to be somebody like Marin who says, I'm not going back to eating, and he does it. That's one out of everybody in the realm of Master Fast that I know of, only one person. So we're talking one in thousands and thousands and maybe millions.
He is the worst.
Yeah, from the worst case to no food case.
Yeah, we have ever heard. So maybe for him, that's it.
Yeah, but that's mostly unlikely, but not impossible. And even if Marin didn't do it, I would tell you it's possible, because I understand it's possible because of my experiences. So I told Marin, of course you don't have to go back to food. You can live on this. I already know. I didn't have a doubt. I told him, he's doing it. He's showing us all. Of course you can do it. And it's just like the 4-minute mile. People that believe it was impossible to break the 4-minute mile. One guy says, "No way, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it," and he did it. To show everybody else that they were all wrong. Not that they were wrong, but to show them what's possible. Let's put it that way. Show them what's possible, because everything is possible. So this is the same thing when we're talking about this stuff.
Yeah, and also this is consistent, because these weekly retreats that we have on your Saturday night, because that's what I call them, they're my little weekly workshops, weekly refocus, weekly retreats, all from the comfort of your own home.
Exactly.
And it's huge. It's like what you've created, you and Ron have created, is I actually feel too blessed, because there's only a few of us here, right? And here we are connecting on the fields, and we're just having this weekly gathering retreat every single week for nothing. We're just all here together, and there's no certificate that I'll have to do for Master Fast System, is there? Do I have to do certificate 101? No. Then I'll be become maybe 10 years become a master faster. Certificate? No.
At 108 days, we give you the master key to open the door.
Key, yeah.
It's all yours.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and I'm in it. And so there's none of that. There's none of that. I'm gonna say a naughty word. None of that bullshit. That crap.
The raw.
Yeah. Just it is what it is. We are who we are. We love each other for where we're at, and accept each other, and we help support each other on our journey. It's all done on the soul level. And sure, some people enter, they knock on the door here and they enter and then they go. But they're not, this is not for them. This door opening isn't for them. And you want them to go as quick as possible, because otherwise they're just going to get confused and it doesn't really help them. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. How you got your group, your Facebook group, MFS? How I look at it every time I enter that space? I look like if I'm coming into someone's home. So how I do that, what would I do? I would respect everyone in that home. I would never be rude. I would never be opinionated or judgmental. You just try and help and support in the conversation. You respect everyone's conversation, and don't become too opinionated, and just love on each other. And then you exit the home in a nice way. So if someone come to my home, I would greet you, I would welcome you, I'd love on you. You would respect me, my husband in our home, and we'd have nice conversations. We would uplift each other. We would help and support if you're struggling and challenging in the Master Fast system, for example, because that's what that door home is to me. When we go in there, it's always about how we master fast in the realm of Master Fast. Less is more, art of subtraction, V = P - O, and how we live in that home That's how I see it when I enter that group. I don't see it anything different.
Exactly.
And exactly like these Zoom calls, I just treat it like my weekly retreat and workshop with some of the best friends and brothers and sisters that I could have every week. If I didn't get it during the week, I'm going to get it here.
That's what I did when I entered other people's groups for years. I respected their ways, you know. I don't. And when I see people coming in and stirring crap, goodbye. I don't have time for that. Olivia has some stuff here. Gino, I'm on day 6, full MFS, and the last 2 days is horrible indigestion, gassy and bloated now. I'm getting heartburn pretty bad. Yep, it could happen. I wasn't feeling like this at all before MFS because you've never stirred it up. And have mucus lean for a year, 80-90% fruit and then greens, but some mucus lean meals. Lots of short 10-day juice fast and 10 days MFS weeks ago. I have fear coming up over this saying, stop. You'll die if you keep going, LOL. I know it's just my fears, that's all it is. But is there anything I can do with this awful indigestion? Why would this start 5 days into MFS? Do I just keep going and will it pass? Okay, it's being stirred, thanks, I understand. Yeah, you're starting to stir in levels that you've never understood before, and these things can come up. Many people have gone through these things. When you have the indigestion, it's not fun. Try a little bit of baking soda in the juice. Just do a small glass of juice and put like a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Drink that first and see if that settles. If that's not enough, go up to a teaspoon. Let's start with small amounts. And don't do this if you don't have any indigestion. Only use it if you feel the heartburn and so on and so forth. What's happening in the GI tract? It's starting to break loose all that caked on stuff, and all kinds of things are going to happen that's stored into that into those layers. And it's not fun, it's not pleasant, but it's got to come out. So the best thing is pedal to the metal, as I say, and get it out. And if it's too much, you back off and you do green juices for a few days. It's cool off, and then you go back on the grape juice or whatever juice you're drinking. I know you say you don't like grape. I don't know what juice you're using now, but any of the recommended juices, they all work.
Enemas.
Yeah, extra enemas, etc., always. The enemas #1 line of defense, right?
How many enemas are you doing per
Gotcha,
day?
thanks. I'll try with the baking soda and juice. Yes, I feel that is what's going on, breaking up. Boy, these fears thoughts are coming and saying it. Also, what's the one that soothes the GI tract? Marshmallow root. You can add that to the kidney tea if you have some of that. Doing 2 per day, 2 enemas per day. Yeah, you do more. If you're just using enema bags, try to get
6 liters at least, but
6 liters.
that's low even.
Or go get a colonic like once a week or something, a closed system colonic. Best is to have your own Kalima board.
Invest in a colonic.
Yeah, marshmallow root will help soothe, mix it with your kidney tea. So do all these things to help, get this thing out of you as quickly as possible so you can pass. And, sometimes it passes for a bit and then it comes back because you're stripping into a deeper layer. It's not anything that's going wrong. Everything's going right.
How much juice are you drinking?
Yeah, that's important.
Are you taking the herbs?
Usually colonics will fasten, but they are brutal. I leave them throwing up. Wow, and severe neck and pain in the head from colonics. I drink 2 liters, all the herbs. Excellent.
Yeah,
wow.
It just tells me that you are really backed up.
You're
having this reaction of
you're really backed up. I know you're on pharmaceuticals and stuff. I know. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a wild ride before the stuff starts moving out. Usually, for most people in general, the first week to 2 weeks could be the most challenging as things start stirring up. And once the GI tract starts clearing and moving, it starts getting better. But of course, we have phases of healing reactions and so on and so forth. So don't let the fear run you. And tap into soul. When that fear comes in, say, away fear, monkey mind, I'm tapping into soul. Because the influences when people have been on these pharmaceuticals are very, very strong from entities. Very strong. And I can speak from first-hand experience, not from myself, from my mother. So I know what I'm talking about. And you can wean anybody off these things and get them off this stuff and clear it out of the body. I don't care what they've taken. Everything's possible, but you have to be patient, persistent, consistent. You have to persevere. You have to know where you're going. You got to use the tools. You got to know when it's time to just back off a bit, go into some green juices for a few days or a week. We have the tools. We have all the tools.
Just in my opinion, you are backed up. So enemas,
no, for sure.
like today, I'm fasting. I did 4 kulimas. Guys, I did 4 kulimas.
20 gallons of water.
Yeah. Each kulima, yeah. So I did
5,
4
10, 15,
kulimas.
20. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so just wash your colon. I mean, I do colonics every day when I'm working. Wash your colon. You
haven't touched the drug in 8 years. Doesn't matter if you haven't fasted. They're stored within the cell structures of the whole physiology.
Yeah, 3 to 4 per day if you can at least. We say 3 enemas at least to get 6 liters in, but do more. I mean,
that was the enema bag. Hold 2 liters. So yeah, if it's 2 liter bag, if it's 1.5 liter bag, you're about there for 3, 4. Yeah. But don't be shy to do more. If you have to do it twice a day, don't be shy. If you don't feel good, you've already done your enemas earlier in the day, do them again. You know.
And I was gonna die this morning from the first kulima. Like, I mean, the smell, not the smell. I actually plugged the insert. It was absolutely horrible. Like, seriously, guys, it's wash your colon, get it out. Whatever that stuff that we were eating yesterday, get it out. You'll feel much better. It's not supposed to be, and it smells really,
yes,
really bad.
Yes, drug deposits are stored. It's not a guess, Olivia. We know. I use the stainless steel for enemas. My neck and head hurt after every enema also, but the colonics make me throw up and dizzy all day. My goodness, yeah. You're really backed up. So, get in there, keep the faith, keep using the tools, keep digging, keep digging, keep digging. Yeah. Persevere. You're going to get through it. What you're going through is really a walk in the park compared to what some people actually went through. So for yourself, it feels like it's the worst thing ever, but just understand that when you're having healing reactions inside of a full MFS, you're always going to come out stronger. And when will these healing reactions stop? When the body's done with them. How long? I don't have the answer, but you got to persevere. The first week to 2 weeks is usually the toughest. Usually most people will start to dump the older caked on stuff in about 14 days on a full MFS. It usually about that time you'll see the really raunchy, stinky stuff start coming out. And that's why, you're throwing up, you're having brain fog and all this stuff, your cerebellum, everything's plugged up, your whole GI tract.
So when you did the colonics in the past, and you had the throwing up and dizziness and all that stuff, were you on the master fast? I'm just curious. Was it at the beginning of the master fast, if you were on the master fast?
It's the same as if I take stomach and bowel herbs and like brain.
Was it at the beginning of the master fast?
Yes, FMS. The stomach and bowel herbs, we have it in the protocol. That's part of it, right? It's the bowel blaster. So the whole regime of MFS is all working synergistically together. Everything is helping each other. And that's why everything is crucial and essential to use everything that we have in the system. The pudding that helps absorb, the herbs that help open up channels of energy, you know what I mean? The juice to wash, the enemas to wash, everything is there for a reason.
Yeah, when somebody comes for a colonic and they have a bad experience, like headaches or whatever, after the colonic, I tell them come back. Most of them are new people, they have never done colonics before, so they're scared. And I tell them, you know what, we are stirring up the waste.
You're
So it's either you stay home or please book as soon as you can so you can release whatever is causing the blockage.
the 10-day juice fast was just a raw juice fast. What kind of juice you used?
It doesn't matter. She did day 5. She did on Master Fast. She did.
Yeah, I know.
colonics.
But I'm just curious. Raw juices, it really doesn't matter what they are. They don't have much power. Everybody that does Master Fast understands that. Everybody that doesn't do Master Fast puts Master Fast down because we use cooked juices, and they just don't have the understanding.
Citrus raw.
Yeah. I've done citrus. I've done all kinds of stuff. They don't have any power. Like in Master Fast, if you use citrus, the lemon, cooked lemon with the cooked grape or whatever other juice you're using, it's even more powerful. And some people that have tried, they couldn't handle it. They have to go back to the raw juice of lemon just to activate it. When you activate it with cooked lemon, it's stronger. So we know what we're talking about because we've experienced it. We've done it.
Yeah, see how the colonics go. I would wash the colon as much as I can before I go for the colonics, so you don't have that sickness feeling.
Yeah. You continue using the raw juice. The raw lemon juice is fine to activate it. It's just in your state right now, you don't need more powerful. It's already powerful enough. So just continue and work through it. Believe me, you're going to get through it. You're going to go down, a few months, years from now, you look back, oh my goodness gracious, why didn't I do this earlier or whatever? And you feel so good and so on and so forth. Once you break through, everything's fine and dandy, but it could be some challenges. Hey, we all have challenges. So we work through them and we have the faith and the trust. Watch other people's interviews of what people went through. It's so empowering. It's so empowering, and stay connected. Stay connected on the page, stay connected here, because when you're on your own, everything is going to be complete opposite of what we're talking about here. It's going to put you in fear. People are going to put you down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and in the protocol, we do mention all the detox symptoms, which I'm sure you have read.
Yeah.
You want to be used. Read them again. Get used to them.
Can you die fasting? It's a possibility. I have not seen anybody die fasting. I see people die breaking fasts improperly or eating. I don't see people dying fasting.
Yeah, and you can slow down if you feel it's too much. You can go for green juices for like Gina said.
Yeah, so we got the tools in place. Persevere, stick with it, get through this hump. Like I said, you get over that 14 days at least. We've had a couple. I remember one guy in particular. He was so blocked up. I mean, literally so blocked up. It took him 60 days before he started releasing the old stinky, raunchy stuff. And his body was basically, he was turning to stone, and his body started all opening up, and it was excruciating pain. He couldn't sit on his butt, how crooked his spine was. And it all started straightening out. After all that crap, at 60 days started coming out. After 60 days. And this guy's young. I'm just showing you how blocked up some of us are. Okay, so you got to do what you got to do to get this stuff out of you. If you want to keep it, stop fasting. You can keep your pepper.
Yeah. You really want to wash your colon, in my opinion. I mean, today was what, 80 liters is what I used? If I did
20 gallons. 20 gallons, it's like 19 liters for 5 gallons.
Okay, so almost 80 liters, right? So like a lot of washing. Just keep washing. Keep washing.
Yeah.
I had cravings after the first colonic, I think. Yeah, I had cravings come. And I was like, do I eat or do I not eat? And then Gina said, how is it going to help you to eat? So I threw away the food.
Make some green juice, any kind you suggest. We have the suggestions in the protocol. Different greens, celery, whatever, spinach.
Yeah, we have it in the protocol. Celery, parsley,
some herbs and stuff. Whatever.
I like fennel, lemon juice, ginger. Ginger is good also for
cucumber, whatever.
dizziness.
There's lots of things you can add, and just do green juices and cool. The greens cool things down.
Yeah.
They have no stripping power. None at all. You'll understand when you do green. I've done long green juice fast. 90 days, I think I did a green juice. They don't have any stripping power. You feel good and everything, but they don't have any stripping power. The stripping power, most stripping power we've ever seen and experienced is MFS. I haven't seen anything come close that I've experienced. People are claiming other things. I've done the other things. There's nowhere near the stripping power as MFS. And there just isn't. It's got a lot of power. And there's no plateau. There is absolutely no plateau. You keep going, it keeps stripping. You keep going, it keeps stripping. The only plateau will come when there comes a time where it's possible to have no obstructions left, but I don't think it's possible in this realm. Maybe it is, I don't know, but we're continuously being bombarded left, right, and center, and so on and so forth.
I guess when you're clean enough, then you just feel amazing.
I also had a headache since starting this. This is normal. And how long is is it normal? No, it's not normal. You're really backed up. Livia, you're really backed up. So try going on green juices a few days, see how that feels, see if things cool down. What's happening, you're starting to stir, and you're feeling everything. That's why we're suggesting more enemas, more washing, more colonics.
After my first Colima today, I had a slight kind of feeling like headache, kind of.
Yeah, when you stir the cesspool, you're going to have the effect of that going into the circulation. So that's why you gotta get it out. You want to move it out. So
after the other 3 hours, totally fine.
I imagine 1 year, 80% fruit, and 18-hour dry fast. Yeah, but see, people don't understand. If you don't clean the GI tract, dry fasting is not where you really can take it. It doesn't give you access to the beautiful, perfect blueprint. You have to clean out the GI tract first. Dry fasting. I don't know anybody's going to be able to go into 10, 12-day dry fast from a sad diet and be able to, get any accomplishment with it. What are you trying to prove? I don't know. What's happening when you do the dry fast and you're all plugged up is the dry fasting is focusing on all that gunk, and there's no real way for the body to move it out. It's trying to burn it. It's a very tough, challenging way to try and clean yourself out by just dry fasting and eating fruit. You need to get to in the higher order of things, I like to say, and start working with soul, because that's what we're really doing. And the dry fasters out there don't have the understanding from what we're doing, because I've done what they've done.
Yeah, 18-hour dry fast will only take you so far. And then you're going to eat and you're going to start the detox.
You're eating. You're 18-hour dry fast. You're still eating.
Yeah, when you're doing liquid, it's different.
Yeah, it's good that you're doing 18-hour dry fast. It's amazing when you're eating, because you're giving the digestive system a rest. It's not always digesting all day long, like people eating, nibbling, and snacking. There's never a rest for this thing except when you're sleeping. And some of them don't even have a rest when they're sleeping, because what do? Before they go to bed, they eat. And I've heard of cases where people have to get up in the middle of the night to eat just to sleep. They're so plugged up. That's what that means. If you can't sleep through a night, you are really plugged up. Because when you stop eating, what happens? The body starts going into elimination mode when you fast, right? And it becomes overwhelmed because the body's so plugged up. I haven't done any move until my grasp. I've been doing colonics and enemas for months and taking stomach herbs. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. And puddings. I am realizing lately too slow. My dry fast down. I use more juice to move the stuff up. I've broken every dry fast with citrus juice all day long until dinner. Yeah. We don't really care what's happening out there. We've been there, done that. This is the realm of master fast where everything's possible. Speak to the people living and loving the lifestyle. And if you want to go out there, you're going to only be spiraled out to more and more confusion. They don't have the understanding that we who are living and loving this lifestyle have.
On the master fast, just make sure you're not overdoing the dry.
Yeah, just stick to the protocol, the minimum You're a newbie. What you've done in the past, you're a newbie. It doesn't mean anything to us.
You're eating.
You're eating. You weren't living a fasting lifestyle.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So continue with that. Do your 1 day a week and try and get to 3 days a month so you can get that big squeeze. And if you can't do dry, do semi-dry or do the colon feeding for the 3 days until you can work your way up to 3 days dry.
I would get myself a colima as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we've gone way over 2.5 hours. I think we'll call it a close. I can go all night, but it's just too long for people. When you're not involved, when you're involved, time flies by. But to watch a video for people after, it's a bit of time. I watch everything at 1.5 times speeds in YouTube. I can't. If somebody talks slower, I can go to 1.75 or 2. Somebody talks fast, 1.5 I can manage and comprehend it. She thinks I'm cuckoo listening to things like that. That's the way I get through all these things. Otherwise, it's just not enough hours in the day.
You can go double speed on your dry.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can do when you're dry fasting.
Oh yeah, when you even like reading and stuff, I can read way faster when I'm fasting.
Yeah.
Way faster, and the comprehension's way more.
Way more. Yeah, clarity is just huge.
Yeah.
It's massive.
So everything is I don't know if we want to call it normal, but everything that's happening it happens when we're fasting, Olivia, and embrace it all. Embrace it. Don't let the fear and the monkey mind get in the way. And the best thing is not to ask opinions of people that know little or nothing about what we're doing, because they're ignorant and they will only put more questions and fears into you because you haven't accessed that information that we have already through our experiences.
That's right.
And once you've done that, you will start to see the light more and more and more, and you will stop asking the people out there less and less and less, because you will find the answers yourself, just like we have.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to find them out there.
Yeah, watch the videos if you can. Watch as many videos as you can so you can learn more.
3 decades, I got into more and more and more trouble listening to what's out there. I went away from what I knew, fell into the trap of the sciences, and almost killed myself from going out there. So I posted the other day about my fear. I had someone PM me about this is a cult. Of course it's a cult. Cultivate ultimate love together. And they sort of started to scare me. Yeah, whatever. People can make all kinds of claims. Ignorance. Like there's a couple of people that took their whole time, energy, and effort to make videos bashing me and Master Fast System. How wonderful. Let's elevate their soul to peace, balance, and correct conduct. Just think about that for a moment. What people do to spend their time bashing other people. What kind of wonderful life is that? Amazing, just beautiful. So we can bless them and elevate their souls, because they are fucking ignorant. Sorry about my language. They are fucking ignorant. They don't have a freaking clue what we're doing. I'm in bliss most of the time, especially when I fast. I just came off 8 days. I feel fucking fantastic. We're a cult. Yeah, we are a cult. So yeah, listen to whatever people want. We want nothing from anybody. We're just sharing and inspiring each other, and that's all we do. We're a family.
Yeah.
You can come and go as you please.
Yeah, when you experience it, you'll understand.
We respect everybody, and hopefully everybody respects what we're doing. And if you don't, goodbye. We're a cult for you. It's okay. No big deal. So with that said, we can have some fun, and this lifestyle is not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. 3 decades, and I can assure you 100%, most people will not live this lifestyle. They will choose to want to continue to eat their pasta, their meat, their cheese, and be in pain, misery, and suffering.
When they know better.
And they will continue to search for their magic diet or magic pill. That's the reality of what's out there. I've been dealing with people for 3 decades in this field. And that's the truth of the matter. And if you can tell me something else, I haven't seen it because I haven't been in it.
Yeah, everybody can do better. We know we can do better. You can do better. Everybody can. So let's just work on ourselves.
It's all it's for all souls, not just for human egos. It depends on who you really or not. Yeah. So we don't have all the answers. Far from it. But we're just sharing, and I only talk about my experiences. That's all I can do. If I don't know something, I really don't go into that area because I don't have the understanding. So I can only speak through experience. And what people have overcome, if you just listen to that, and you can have a choice to listen to the people calling us a cult and crazy and this and that, and everybody else that's been sharing their stories are all liars. I know they're all liars. We're all liars. Just Elaine here says she could barely walk, and now she's walking. She's a liar too. We're all liars.
Yeah. There's nothing like when we share the truth and we experience it. You will know. They will know when they experience it. Yeah, but anyways, everybody can do much better than what we're doing. We all make excuses here and there. So let's just support each other to do the best we can do.
Yeah.
Nobody's better than the other. We are all in this together.
We're all learning. We all make mistakes.
So let's do our best.
We make mistakes. The biggest mistake I made is believing people were ready to do 108 days and open the door and walk through it. That's the biggest mistake I made.
Yeah, it's okay. We can fix it.
No, that's okay. Not for me. Not for me.
In general, for the most part.
I know.
Yeah, because you've heard and seen the stories.
Yeah, I have.
A few of the few, they do it.
Yeah, they're better off to start with it. Yeah, they're better off to get to that 3-day dry at the end of the month. If they can get to that, then it opens another doorway into something. I forgot actually. Thanks for reminding me, Gina, that when you clean out the GI tract, that's why I enjoy my dry fast so much. Because it's all clean and then you dry fast. Yeah.
Oh, dry fasting is a whole different experience when you clean out the GI tract. It's like night and day. And the ones who are dry fasting out there who have never cleaned their GI tract, they don't know what we're talking about. They can't know.
No.
Because that does not clean out the GI tract from what I've seen. It doesn't. If you do it for many years with minimal eating, which would be a very slow process because the GI tract is so plugged up, you'll probably get to that state. Need a very slow process. This is a quicker way to clean out that GI tract, and it's safe and it's very effective. So we continue. And David, night all, thanks, Plaf, loving and living, living and loving it. Okay, guys, we're almost at the 3-hour mark. It's been a blessing. I get charged more and more when we do these things. It's awesome. And
I'm charged.
I'm ready for a 108-day dry fast.
Yay! Yay!
We'll get there. One day at a time.
Love you guys.
One day at a time. Ciao.
Love you too, Rana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Love
Bye.
you, Ray.
Thank you
Bye,
for joining me.
Lisa.
Love you, Renji.
Bye, Steve. Love
Bye.
you too.
Bye, Lisa. See you next week.
See you next week, Steve. You have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, I
Okay.
will.
Have a great week. Bye.
Bye. All.
Bye.